Chapter 2492. Zhao Fu chuckled and said, "Things aren't as simple as you think. Right now, the various forces are very complicated. If you don't have the strength to protect yourself, you'll definitely suffer. Others won't be able to completely protect you. Furthermore, I'm not interested in the Dragon Clan's lord. This time around, I'm just passing by. Actually, I have other things to do." This time, Zhao Fu's main mission was to go to the spirit realm to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, not to the devil realm to inherit the position of Dragon Lord. It was clear that entering the fiend domain would be a very troublesome matter. He was the leader of the Dragon Clan in name, but there would definitely be countless people who were not convinced and would play tricks behind his back. Zhao Fu would not be able to deal with them alone. Those Dragon Emperors were all half-immortals. They would definitely not allow Zhao Fu to become the lord of the Dragon Clan above them. There was no need to think about the result of Zhao Fu facing these people. In the end, the Phoenix Clan would definitely participate, and even the other powerful clans in the Devil Realm would participate. This was obviously a super big whirlpool. That was why Zhao Fu didn't want to enter the Devil Domain. He didn't want to get into trouble. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be able to escape, and his life might even be threatened. Hearing Zhao Fu say that he was not interested in becoming the leader of the dragon race, and that he was not willing to go to the dragon race, everyone could not understand why someone would not dare to be interested in the position of the supreme leader of the dragon race. If it were an ordinary person, they would definitely fight madly for it. The members of the Phoenix Clan heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, this man wasn't interested in leading the Dragon Clan. Otherwise, if such a terrifying being became the leader of the Dragon Clan, the Phoenix Clan would be doomed. Long Qingqing was still unwilling to give up. Zhao Fu might become the first leader of the dragon race in history and lead the entire dragon race. The dragon race would become a whole and would become incredibly powerful. The dragon race would definitely be at its peak. By then, the Phoenix Tribe, Qilin Tribe, Black Tortoise Tribe, Nine-Tailed Tribe, and Vermilion Bird Tribe would all tremble in fear of the Dragon Tribe. Long Qingqing knelt on the ground and continued to plead, "Lord Dragon Sovereign, you are the destined master of the Dragon Clan. Our Dragon Clan needs you. Please return to the Dragon Clan and rule us." The other dragons also knelt on the ground and begged, "Lord Dragon Sovereign, please return to the Dragon Clan and become the leader of the Dragon Clan, leading our Dragon Clan to glory." Evil Nine also knelt on the ground and looked at Zhao Fu with her large eyes as she said coquettishly, "Zhao Fu, can you go and become the ruler of the Dragon Clan? At that time, you will be one of my clansmen. You can have me do anything you want." When the members of the Phoenix Clan saw the Dragon Clan kneeling on the ground and begging, they could not help but feel nervous. However, Zhao Fu still smiled and said, "You guys don't need to say anything more. I have no interest in the Lord of the Outlander race. Naturally, I won't sit on the Lord of the Dragon Clan." Lord of the Outsiders? When the crowd heard this, they were confused. They did not understand what Zhao Fu meant. "Sir, it's almost time for your duel. You need to make some preparations." The goat-headed youngster's voice suddenly came from outside the door. Zhao Fu replied with a smile, "Yeah, I got it." After saying that, Zhao Fu was about to leave the room to participate in the next round. Long Qingqing called out to Zhao Fu and reminded him, "Wait, Lord Dragon Sovereign, now that the Phoenix race knows about your terrifying identity, are you going to leave them here? If they leak the news, it will definitely cause a huge commotion." Feng Baixue was startled. It was very likely that Zhao Fu would kill them to prevent them from leaking the news. This matter was simply too terrifying. He hurriedly said, "My lord, please trust us. We won't reveal your identity." In fact, Feng Baixue really wanted to go back and report this matter to the Phoenix Clan. This was an important matter that would decide the fate of the entire Phoenix Clan, so she definitely had to report it to the higher-ups. She believed that the power of the Phoenix Clan could remove the restriction in her body. Now, they just needed to wait for Zhao Fu to leave so that they could return to the Phoenix Clan. Zhao Fu looked at the Phoenix race's people, causing them to feel quite nervous. He suddenly felt the threat of death. Feng Baixue could not help but say, "My lord, it's not just us. The Dragon Clan's people will definitely leak the news about you, which will be a great threat to you. These words were not wrong. This was an important matter that would decide the fate of the Dragon Clan. So Long Qingqing felt that it would be worth it to risk her life to report this to the higher-ups. Zhao Fu looked at the members of the Dragon Clan. Evil Nine said angrily, "When not like that. Zhao Fu, we won't reveal your identity. You're the ruler of our Dragon Clan." Since they could not fight, Feng Baishua looked at Long Qingqing and said, "Lord Dragon Sovereign, according to what I know, the most powerful Dragon Emperor in the Dragon Clan has always wanted to become the ruler of the Dragon Clan, but he never had the chance. If he knew of your existence, he would definitely use all sorts of methods to kill you. The Dragon Clan is not as united as you think." The other young men and women were afraid of Zhao Fu, so they naturally would not say anything. As Zhao Fu's friend, Evil Nine would not say anything either, leaving only Long Qingqing. Looking at her complicated expression, she did not want to lie to the future ruler of the Dragon Clan. It was evident that she would do anything to leak this information. Evil Nine looked at Zhao Fu, then looked at Long Qingqing. He went up and hugged Zhao Fu as he said, "Zhao Fu, you can't harm my big sister." Zhao Fu lightly laughed, and a powerful and evil power flowed out from Zhao Fu's body. Pale white roots rose up from the ground and shot towards the people in the room. The others were greatly startled and wanted to react, but the restrictions within their bodies activated, locking them in place. Everyone looked terrified because Zhao Fu was going to kill them all. Evil Nine thought this was the case, and his large eyes flickered with tears as he angrily glared at Zhao Fu and said, "Zhao Fu, I told you not to harm them. Hurry and stop." Zhao Fu lightly smiled as he said, "Don't worry, I told you that I wouldn't kill them. I'm just setting up a restriction within their bodies to prevent this information from leaking out." "Really?" Evil Nine asked as he looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded, and a massive amount of demonic energy entered everyone's bodies, completely controlling them. Following this, the countless pale white roots slowly retracted into the ground. Everyone quickly regained their freedom and relaxed. Zhao Fu had not killed them. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Before, I said that you would pay a price for coming here. Now that your bodies are under my control, you will not be able to leak this information." Feng Baishue and Long Qingqing's expressions became quite unsightly. Just as they were about to report this to their superiors, their bodies froze as if they had lost control of themselves. Chapter 2493. Zhao Fu looked at them and said, "I know what you're thinking. If you think like this again, the consequences will be severe." Feng Baishue and Long Qingqing nodded, indicating that they understood. Following this, Zhao Fu smiled as he left the room, and the people from the Phoenix race and Dragon race came down. Feng Baishue thought of what had just happened and looked at the people from the Dragon race in front of her. She lightly harumphed and said in a mocking tone, "Congratulations! A Dragon race lord has appeared in your Dragon race, but it's a pity that no one is interested in going to your Dragon race." Long Qingqing smiled as she said, "At least our Dragon race will have a Dragon race lord in the future, and a very terrifying Dragon race lord at that. Right now, he doesn't want to go to the Dragon race, but that might not be the case in the future. When he becomes the Dragon race lord, the Phoenix race will be destroyed. I look forward to that day." Feng Baishue said angrily, "Long Qingqing, don't be too pleased." Long Qingqing lightly laughed as she said, "You should worry about your Phoenix race. Ever since that peerless genius appeared, no one else like her has appeared. In the future, you won't be able to stop our Dragon race." Feng Baishue looked quite angry, but she could not retort because what Long Qingqing said was the truth. Evil Nine did not want the two of them to continue arguing and said, "All right, big sister Qing, that's enough. It's almost time for Zhao Fu to fight. I want to see a real battle." Hearing this, Long Qingqing smiled and nodded. Feng Baishue did not say anything else and went to the window, wanting to see how Zhao Fu would fight. However, she already had some expectations. By now, Zhao Fu was standing within the arena. The arena fell silent as everyone nervously looked at the arena. This was an Emperor Heaven Realm battle, and it was far more terrifying than the previous battles. it was likely that it would be even more spectacular. A young man with snake-like eyes gave off a cold and eerie aura and gave off a powerful aura. He was an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. The snake-like young man savagely glared at Zhao Fu and said in a hoarse voice, "Boy, hurry up and admit defeat, or else you'll die." Zhao Fu smiled disdainfully. "Hurry up and do it. My time is limited." The snake-eyed young man became furious and gave off a powerful aura. His body twisted like a snake, and he instantly disappeared. In the next second, he appeared in front of Zhao Fu. One of his arms turned into a large snake and bit toward Zhao Fu. Whoosh! Zhao Fu's body instantly disappeared, leaving behind an afterimage. The snake passed through the afterimage that Zhao Fu had left behind, and its attack missed. The snake-eyed youth was startled and sensed something. He looked up into the sky. He saw Zhao Fu descend from the sky, a foot stomping towards him with tremendous force. Before the snake-eyed youth could react, Zhao Fu stepped on his body. Bang! A loud sound rang out as the snake-eyed youth was stomped on the ground by Zhao Fu's foot. The terrifying force hit the ground and instantly cracked a large pit. The snake-eyed youth was trampled under Zhao Fu's foot. Blood flowed from his mouth, and he looked seriously injured. So powerful. Countless people present stared at Zhao Fu in shock. The battle had ended in an instant. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Countless people shouted excitedly in the originally quiet venue. Their voices were like thunder, shaking the surroundings. Long Qingqing and the others came to the window and looked at the battle below. They were not too surprised, as they were both Emperor Heaven Realm experts and had been easily defeated by Zhao Fu. They were no match for Zhao Fu, let alone that snake-eyed youth. The judge smiled and announced Zhao Fu's victory. Zhao Fu waited for his next opponent. Long Qingqing looked away and looked at Evil Nine, who was focused on Zhao Fu. She thought for a moment before smiling and saying, "Jiu Air, how did you get to know someone as horrible as him? Didn't you come from a new world?" Now that Zhao Fu had become the ruler of the dragon race, Long Qingqing wanted to know more about him. Feng Baixue also wanted to know more about Zhao Fu, so she pricked up her ears and listened intently. Evil Nine turned to look at Long Qingqing and smiled as he said, I was born in a new world, and Zhao Fu is also from a new world. We were born in the same place, so we got to know each other quite easily." What? That person with such terrifying power and bloodline was just someone from a new world? Hearing this, everyone felt as if they had been struck by lightning, and they almost lost their footing and fell to the ground. Even though Long Qingqing trusted Evil Nine, she asked in disbelief, "Jiu Air, are you talking about the real Evil Nine? Is that person really someone from a new world?" Evil Nine nodded and replied, "Big Sister Qing, do you think I'd lie to you?" Long Qingqing believed Evil Nine's words, but she was still quite shocked. How could someone from a new world grasp such extreme power and have a sovereign bloodline? Ordinary people from a new world would at most be at the heaven realm, and they would not be able to head to the center of the heaven domain. However, he had appeared in the heaven domain with Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation and was much more terrifying than ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm cultivators. Just what had happened to him? How could there be such shocking changes? Long Qingqing looked at Evil Nine seriously and said, "Jiu Air, this matter is very important. This matter is very important. Tell me everything you know." Evil Nine sweetly smiled and said, "All right, I left the human world a long time ago, and I don't know how Zhao Fu became so terrifying." Long Qingqing nodded and said, "It's fine. Tell me everything you know about him." Evil Nine thought about the past and happily smiled as he said, "Back then, I was the ruler of a region and lived a carefree life. One day, a terrifying abnormal sign appeared, and I found out that a kingdom's legatee had appeared in my territory." Hearing this, Long Qingqing and Feng Baixue looked quite surprised. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be a kingdom's legatee. Evil Nine continued, "That kingdom's legacy land's power was incredibly strong, and I started to worry every day, afraid that the people from that kingdom's legacy land would come and attack me. After a while, Zhao Fu came to where I was sleeping and gathered a type of spirit grass. That was how we got to know each other. Back then, he was incredibly weak and only had stage 2 or stage 3 cultivation. I felt that I could flatten him with a single claw, but the aura he gave off was incredibly terrifying, so I did not dare to attack him. The facts proved that I was right. Zhao Fu's power and faction quickly grew, and Zhao Fu's power quickly surpassed mine. His territory devoured countless factions and became a very powerful faction. Zhao Fu's eyes lit up as he looked at Zhao Fu. Chapter 2494. After that, many things happened. The abnormal signs that Zhao Fu caused became more and more terrifying, and he became someone that the entire human world feared. However, I had never thought that his potential would surpass my expectations. Now that I've seen how terrifying he is and that he has become the 9th Dragon Emperor's legatee, I'm also quite shocked. That's right, he knows Grandpa Qing, and Grandpa Fong also knows Zhao Fu. He even stopped Zhao Fu from almost destroying the human world. Long Qingqing felt quite startled. She had never thought that her grandpa would know such a terrifying person. Why had she never heard him mention this before? After hearing Evil Nine's words, everyone now had a certain understanding of Zhao Fu, but they felt even more shocked. The first was that Zhao Fu's bloodline had grown from a lowly legacy bloodline to the dragon race's sovereign bloodline. The second was his cultivation. He had only used 10 or so years to go from a person without any power to an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. This speed was simply too shocking. The third was that he had gone from a minor figure to someone above them. Zhao Fu definitely had something special about him, and Zhao Fu definitely had extraordinary abilities. The fourth was that they felt that Zhao Fu's identity was not simple at all. Evil Nine and Zhao Fu had not seen each other for many years, so they did not know what had happened to Zhao Fu. When Zhao Fu had been weak, he had been able to cause such terrifying ripples in the heavens and earth. And as he became stronger, the ripples he caused would become even more terrifying. Moreover, the most powerful power within his body was not the sovereign dragon power, but an extremely terrifying power. As the sovereign of the dragon race, his most powerful power was not the sovereign dragon power, which surprised many people. They only understood a bit about Zhao Fu, and they felt even more curious about what Zhao Fu had experienced to become such a powerful existence. Long Qingqing suddenly thought of something and asked, "Jiu Air, what did the sovereign dragon say about the Outlander race's ruler? Do you know?" For some reason, Long Qingqing felt that the Outlander race's ruler was not simple at all. She did not know that the Outlander race's ruler was the ruler of the entire Outlander race, the second king of kings in the Outlander race's history. Evil Nine naturally did not know and shook his head. Roar. A massive roar sounded out as a devil with a tiger's head and a human's body raised its head and gave a massive roar. Large amounts of white-colored aura flowed into its body, forming a pillar of aura as a terrifying shockwave spread out. This demon was from the White Tiger race. He possessed the bloodline of the holy beast, the White Tiger, and was extremely strong. After exploding out with this terrifying power, the Devil Race expert gave off a terrifying white aura flame and charged at Zhao Fu like a massive beast. The ground was unable to withstand that power and continuously crumbled. Zhao Fu looked at the incoming Devil Race people and did not move a single step. Boom! The Devil Race cultivator had already arrived in front of Zhao Fu, bringing with him a massive white aura flame. He punched towards Zhao Fu, and the terrifying fist energy seemed capable of destroying an entire world. Anything would be shattered. At that moment, Zhao Fu quickly sent a wave of power into his arm, causing his palm to turn into a ghostly hand. An incredibly cold aura flowed out, causing the surrounding temperature to plummet. Zhao Fu clenched his fist and punched out forcefully. Bang! A shocking explosion rang out as the two fists collided with a massive amount of power. A power that seemed to be able to destroy everything instantly spread out, causing the ground to collapse and rocks to fly everywhere. In the next second, the Devil Race cultivator was sent flying by Zhao Fu's punch. His body flew backwards, leaving behind a trail of light as he smashed into the wall of the spectator's stand, opening up a large crater and causing the spectator's stand to violently tremble. The devil race cultivator's entire body was embedded into the wall, and blood leaked out of his mouth and body. So powerful! Countless people stared at this scene in shock. They had thought that the devil race cultivator was already strong enough, and they had never thought that this person would be even more terrifying. They were both at the Emperor Heaven realm, but the difference was so great. This seems to be the Six Paths Demon Image's power. Zhao Fu once summoned the Six Paths Demon Images and almost used them to destroy the human world. Fortunately, Grandpa Fong stopped him. Evil 9 said to Long Qingqing. Long Qingqing felt quite startled. The Six Paths Demon Images are terrifying existences that guard the six paths of reincarnation. Why is Zhao Fu using the ghost world's sovereign power? He is indeed not simple and might be even more terrifying than I thought. Thinking about it like that, everything makes sense. Zhao Fu most likely has an even more terrifying identity and power, which is why he doesn't care about the dragon race's power and identity. Just how much power does he have? And what is his even more terrifying identity? The more she understood about Zhao Fu, the more she felt that Zhao Fu was incredibly mysterious and terrifying. Long Qingqing felt that she could not guess anything about Zhao Fu at all. Feng Baixue felt the same. She could not figure out Zhao Fu's true identity or what he had gone through to become so terrifying. At that moment, the referee announced Zhao Fu's victory. He carried the heavily injured devil race cultivator off the stage, and another person walked up. It was a muscular man with a dragon horn on his head. As soon as the big man went up, he looked at Zhao Fu with a serious expression. He had seen the terrifying power that Zhao Fu had unleashed, and he knew that Zhao Fu was incredibly powerful. Roar! The muscular man roared, and his body quickly changed. Red scales grew out of his body, and he quickly grew taller. Finally, he became a 3-meter-tall dragon man with a dragon's head and a dragon's tail. Swish! The muscular man's body instantly disappeared, and a strong gust of wind blew up a lot of dust. Bang! In the next moment, the muscular man appeared in front of Zhao Fu, and his fist contained a ferocious force that seemed to be able to shatter the earth as it punched toward Zhao Fu. Pa! A clear sound rang out as that terrifying fist was easily caught by Zhao Fu with a single hand. It did not deal any damage to Zhao Fu. The muscular man's expression also froze, and before he could react, Zhao Fu grabbed the muscular man's hand and threw him away. The muscular man heavily smashed into the ground, creating a large crater. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and angrily crawled up from the ground, sprawling on the ground like a wild beast. Boom! The muscular man charged at Zhao Fu with great power, instantly disappearing and appearing in front of Zhao Fu. He grabbed at Zhao Fu, but in the next moment, he was sent flying by a kick from Zhao Fu. The muscular man angrily crawled up and charged at Zhao Fu with terrifying force. In the end, the muscular man naturally could not win and was defeated by Zhao Fu. After that, a few people went up, and they were all heavily injured by Zhao Fu. In the end, Zhao Fu became the champion of the dueling competition and obtained the Empyrean Demon Horse Stone. At the same time, he also gained a lot of popularity. When countless devil race members saw Zhao Fu, they could not help but scream out in excitement. Zhao Fu did not mind them and returned to his room. Now that everything was over, it was time to bid farewell to Evil 9. Chapter 2495. Zhao Fu smiled at Evil 9. Now that I'm done here, I'll leave immediately. We'll meet again in the future. Evil 9 looked at Zhao Fu with his big eyes and said reluctantly, "Are you in such a hurry to leave? I still want to stay with you a little longer." Zhao Fu chuckled. "Yes, that matter is very important to me." Evil 9 asked curiously, "What do you do? Why are you so anxious?" Zhao Fu replied simply, "Nothing much. I'm just going to the spirit realm to awaken the spirit race's supreme emperor star." Hearing this, everyone looked quite shocked. Awakening a supreme emperor star was a shocking matter. So how could Zhao Fu say it so easily? Wasn't Zhao Fu from the human race? How could he awaken the spirit race's supreme emperor star? If an ordinary person had said something like that, they would definitely have thought that the person was bragging. But since it was Zhao Fu who said it, they maintained a skeptical attitude. After all, Zhao Fu was so terrifying that he might really be able to do it. Evil Nine trusted Zhao Fu and smiled as he said, "After you go to the spirit race and awaken the spirit race's emperor star, come visit me when you have time." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Seeing that Zhao Fu was about to leave, Long Qingqing could not help but say, "Lord Dragon Sovereign, we want to know more about you. Could you tell us more? Also, are you really going to the spirit race to awaken the Emperor's star? This isn't something that just anyone can do." Zhao Fu looked at her and said, "Knowing too much isn't good for you." Long Qingqing understood that Zhao Fu was not simple at all and was becoming more and more mysterious. He had just said something about awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star, and for the sake of the dragon race, Long Qingqing made a decision. "Lord Dragon Sovereign, I'm willing to be your maid and follow by your side. I hope you can agree." Everyone was surprised. They had not expected Long Qingqing to say that. Feng Baixue could guess Long Qingqing's intentions and thought for the sake of the Phoenix clan. In order to stop Long Qingqing, she smiled as she said, "Sir, I'm not afraid of you. I can also be your maid and follow you around." Evil Nine said happily, "I'll stay with Sister Qing. Zhao Fu, let's go to Spirit Realm together. It just so happens that I haven't gone to Spirit Realm yet. I can have some fun there." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "No, I don't want to bring so many people." Evil Nine looked disappointed. She pouted and said, "Why? It's so boring to go there alone. Look at how pretty Sister Qing is. How nice it would be to bring her along." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "I really can't. All right, I'm leaving." Evil Nine had no other choice. "All right then, remember to visit me at my place." Zhao Fu nodded lightly, and then he left the city. He transformed into a ray of light that shot towards the horizon. After Zhao Fu left, Long Qingqing thought for a moment before saying to the people of the dragon race, "You guys go back first. Remember not to leak this matter, or else the power that Lord Dragon Sovereign left in our bodies will kill you." Evil Nine asked curiously, "Sister Qing, if we go back, what about you?" Long Qingqing replied seriously, "I want to follow behind Lord Dragon Sovereign. His identity is too mysterious and terrifying. I must find out. Moreover, he is the future leader of our dragon race. I must convince him to go to the dragon race." Evil Nine thought for a moment and said, "Sister Qing, I want to go as well. Don't think that Zhao Fu treats me so well and warmly. He is only like this to his friends and subordinates. In reality, he is a terrifying person. I'm worried that you will be in danger." The other dragon race youths hurriedly said, "We want to go as well." Long Qingqing thought for a moment and gave a trace of a smile. "Evil Nine, come with me. Don't go with the others. I don't know what will happen along the way." Evil Nine happily nodded, while the others looked disappointed. However, there was nothing they could do. It was Evil Nine's fault for being friends with such a powerful person. With her there, Zhao Fu would not harm Long Qingqing, and she could help Long Qingqing convince Zhao Fu to go to the dragon race and become the leader of the dragon race. Seeing that Long Qingqing wanted to follow Zhao Fu, Feng Baixue made a decision, but she did not say anything. This was because on the Phoenix race's side, apart from her, there were 6 female attendants and a young man from the Phoenix race. She only knew that young man from the Phoenix race and did not have a good relationship with her. What he chose to do was not within her concern. The young man was quite self-aware and decided to leave by himself. He would bury this matter in his mind and not speak of it. He had never thought that teaching a few dragon race youths a lesson would draw out the leader of the dragon race. Following this, Long Qingqing brought Evil Nine and chased after the direction in which Zhao Fu had disappeared. Looking at Long Qingqing's disappearing figure, Feng Baixue gave a trace of a smile and said, "Let's follow as well. I want to know just how terrifying that person's identity is and if he can awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star." The female attendants next to her said seriously, "Big Miss, are you sure? Are you sure? That person is very dangerous by himself, and if we chase after him, we might anger him. We might even lose our lives. Feng Baishue smiled as she said, if we directly follow behind him, we'll definitely anger him. However, if we follow behind Long Qingqing, even if he's angry, he'll first attack Long Qingqing and the others. The female attendants lightly laughed. Big miss, you're quite smart. Following this, Feng Baishue brought the 6 beautiful female attendants and turned into a ray of light as they chased after Long Qingqing. A while later, a flirtatious beauty with long violet hair arrived at this city. Her appearance caused many people to cry out because she was simply too beautiful. Countless men wanted to have her, and even women felt jealous and envious of her. Lan Yu ignored these passionate gazes and asked with a smile, did you see a mysterious, cloaked person? Following this, Lan Yu heard about what had happened here and smiled as she chased after the direction in which Zhao Fu had disappeared. Not too long later, another pair of peerlessly beautiful sisters arrived, causing countless people to sigh in amazement. Jian Yue and Jian Luiyue had followed the aura here. They also asked if they had seen the cloaked person and received information about Zhao Fu, so they quickly chased after Zhao Fu. Last was Xiang Qianqian. Because she was not as strong as the other 2 groups, she did not dare to descend with her aura. As such, she could only rely on her senses to chase after the direction in which Zhao Fu had disappeared. By now, Zhao Fu did not know that there were 5 groups of people following behind him. Long Qingqing and Evil 9 were in one group. Feng Baishue and her 6 female attendants were in another group. Lan Yu was in another group. Jian Yue and Jian Luiyue were in another group. And Xiang Qianqian was in the last group. Zhao Fu quickly flew towards the spirit realm and used teleportation formations to continuously teleport before finally arriving at the spirit realm. Because this was the spirit realm, he felt that there was more spirit energy here and that the spirit energy here contained a trace of spirituality. Chapter 2496. After traveling for so many days, they had finally reached the spirit domain. Zhao Fu's body relaxed, and a trace of a smile appeared on his face. His next plan was to head to the 6 Desires Celestial Sect. The 6 Desires Celestial Sect was near the Heaven Domain, and it was not very far from here. Zhao Fu was mainly going there to deal with his art and to gather information on awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star. Because Zhao Fu knew where the 6 Desires Celestial Sect was, it would not be difficult for him to go there. The difficult part was awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star, but Zhao Fu did not have any information on this. Now that he was not in such a rush, he could slow down. Zhao Fu also slowed down and did not quickly fly towards the 6 Desire Celestial Sect. Instead, he flew to a city. Most of the people here were from the spirit race, and there were all kinds of people. There were wooden people with skin like wood, people with fiery eyes and fiery hair, people with fiery eyes, and people with faces that seemed to be made of mud. Their attributes were mainly yin, yang, metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and ice. Zhao Fu looked at them with interest and started to walk around the city. The city that Zhao Fu was in was not a small city, but an extremely large city called Hongming City. It was quite famous, and the city lord seemed to be a Dao realm expert. Almost no one dared to cause trouble here. Zhao Fu looked around the streets and looked at the things that the vendors were selling. Zhao Fu did not pay much attention to ordinary food and toys. His gaze was mainly focused on the materials and spirit medicines. These spirit materials and spirit medicines could help Zhao Fu understand the spirit domain, and perhaps he could find things that would be useful to Zhao Fu. After walking for a while, Zhao Fu found something interesting. He came to a vendor on the ground, and there were transparent orbs floating above the vendor. Each of them was as big as an egg and seemed to be made of crystal, and they gave off different lights. The lights were not very strong, and there were azure, green, fiery, icy, blue, black, white, etc. They emitted different kinds of light and different kinds of power, but none of them were very strong. Apart from these single-colored crystal balls, there were also crystal balls that gave off 2 and 3 colors. The light they gave off was slightly stronger than the other crystal balls. The owner of the stall was a kind-looking old man with a ruddy face. When he saw Zhao Fu squatting down in front of his stall, he seemed very interested and smiled as he said, "Customer, these are pseudo-spiritual beads. Do you want to buy a few?" Zhao Fu took out a pseudo-spirit bead and asked curiously, "What is this? What's its use?" The old man explained with an awkward expression, "Pseudo-spirit beads are made in the same way as spirit beads. They don't have any use other than for fun." Zhao Fu continued to ask, "What is a spiritual pearl?" The old man smiled as he explained, "Spiritual pearls are unique to the spirit realm. They are formed from the gathering of heaven and earth spirit chi and have extremely powerful spirit energy. They are a very powerful and rare treasure." Spirit beads also have different attributes. For example, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth are the most common attributes. There are also some even rarer attributes, such as the star spirit bead, the dragon spirit bead, the devil spirit bead, and the god spirit bead. Spiritual pearls are split into heaven spirit, earth spirit, and human spirit. The human spirit pearl is the weakest and has average spirituality, so it is the most common spiritual pearl. The second ranked is the earth spirit pearl, which has more power and spirituality than the human spirit race. Finally, there are the extremely rare heavenly spirit pearls that normal people cannot see. These heavenly spirit pearls have extremely powerful spirit energy, and after countless years, only one can be born. They have extremely powerful spirituality. The heavenly spirit pearl is also very powerful. If a normal person uses it, that person will immediately have an innate spirit body, and their cultivation speed and comprehension will greatly increase. They will become a genius that everyone admires. Apart from being used by people, the heavenly spirit pearl also has many other uses. For example, it can be fused into cities, made into weapons, or set up formations. After hearing the old man's explanation, Zhao Fu looked down at the pseudo-spirit pearl in his hand and asked, "Do you have a method to make pseudo-spirit pearls?" The old man smiled as he said, "This thing isn't rare, so of course I have it." Zhao Fu placed the pseudo-spirit pearl in the stall and took out a large bag of purple coins, giving it to the old man. "I want to buy the method to make pseudo-spirit pearls." The old man took the bag and looked at it, which was filled with purple coins. He was delighted, but after thinking for a moment, he said, "Dear customer, this thing is very cheap, so you don't need that much money." Zhao Fu did not mind as he said, "It's fine, just take it as payment for explaining the spirit pearls to me." Hearing this, the old man did not hold back and smiled as he took out a book and handed it to Zhao Fu, saying, "This book records the method to make pseudo-spirit pearls, as well as some of my experience in making pseudo-spirit pearls. I hope it will be useful to you." Zhao Fu took the book and flipped through it a few times before putting it away. He then left the stall and continued onwards. At the same time, Zhao Fu thought to himself that with such powerful spirit energy and spirituality, perhaps it could help him awaken the spirit race's supreme Emperor Star. Ordinary spirit pearls naturally would not be enough, and he would need at least sky spirit pearls. If he had higher grade spirit pearls, that would be even better. Now that he had finally made some gains and found a method to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, Zhao Fu looked around with interest. "Perverted thief! Stop right there!" A cold shout sounded out from behind Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stopped and looked behind him in confusion. There was a tall and slim woman in a red dress, and she gave off a vixen aura. She held a whip and looked at him furiously. The people around him immediately retreated to the side, revealing an empty space. They pointed at Zhao Fu as if he was a perverted thief and started to discuss him. Zhao Fu stood at the center of the empty space, feeling quite confused. Even though he was not a good person and had violated countless women, he did not recognize this woman. "Are you sure you're talking about me?" Zhao Fu asked. The woman in red pointed the whip at Zhao Fu and said angrily, "I remember your aura and will never forget it. Don't think that I won't recognize you just because you're wearing a cloak." Zhao Fu felt quite speechless as he said, "I think you're mistaken. I'm not the person you're looking for." This is the first time I've come here. The woman in red said angrily. You're still trying to argue? You didn't even hide your aura. Who are you trying to trick? Today, I'm going to get justice for my good sister. Pa! The woman in red swung the whip in her hand and vigorously whipped it toward Zhao Fu. The whip was incredibly powerful and felt as if it could shatter a boulder. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed the incoming whip. Chapter 2497. The woman in the red dress was stunned. She didn't expect Zhao Fu to block her attack so easily. She pulled the whip in her hand, but she couldn't pull it out of Zhao Fu's hand. Zhao Fu frowned and looked at the woman in front of him as he said, I'm really not the person you're looking for. If you continue like this, I won't be polite to you. Seeing that Zhao Fu had said many times that he had mistaken her for someone else and had not taken the initiative to attack her, the others had a good attitude and called out, Miss, did you really get the wrong person? He doesn't look like a pervert to me. Hearing these voices, the red-dressed woman felt like she was going to explode. She was extremely clear about that aura, and it was this person who had tarnished her good friend. Now, her good friend was nowhere to be found, and it was very likely that she had been killed by that perverted thief. How could the woman in the red dress not be angry when there was someone speaking up for a person who had done so much evil and deserved to die 10,000 times? However, in order to prove that she was not mistaken, the woman in the red dress took out a jade bead and threw it. The jade bead slowly flew toward Zhao Fu. The woman in the red dress said, If you have the ability, then take this jade bead. This jade bead will only respond to that perverted thief. If you don't dare, then you're that perverted thief. Zhao Fu snorted coldly. Why wouldn't I dare? I don't even know you. Let's see how you're going to end up when you find out that you found the wrong person. The woman in the red dress said angrily, Stop quibbling. If you have the ability, then take that jade bead. If I really found the wrong person, you can do whatever you want of me. I can even kneel down and apologize to you. Zhao Fu's face was cold, and he didn't say anything else. He could only let the facts speak for themselves. Later, she would know that she was wrong. Zhao Fu was sure that she didn't know him. Looking at the jade bead floating in front of him, Zhao Fu confidently stretched out a hand and grabbed the jade bead. However, the jade bead did not react at all. Zhao Fu said coldly, Did you see that? Did the jade bead react? I already said that I'm not the person you're looking for. The woman in the red dress's expression froze, and she felt strange. She clearly remembered that this person in front of her was giving off the aura of that perverted thief, so why didn't the jade bead have any reaction? The surrounding people also understood that the woman in the red dress had made a mistake. Suddenly, countless intense lights shined out, and everyone looked over to see the jade pearl in Zhao Fu's hand giving off an intense light. The woman in the red dress was extremely angry and shouted, Let's see how a perverted thief like you can quibble. I was almost fooled by you. Zhao Fu's face was filled with astonishment. He couldn't understand why this jade bead would have such a strong reaction to him. The woman in the red dress said loudly, Everyone, I'll tell you right now that this pervert's true identity is the infamous traitor of the Six Desires celestial sect. He's the one who has defiled countless women in the history of Spirit Realm, and you're still speaking up for him? The crowd was in an uproar. No one had expected the person in front of them to be that infamous pervert. I'm such a bastard for speaking up for such a despicable person. Now, I really regret it and want to slap myself. You might know a person's face, but you don't know his heart. I thought I had made a mistake and that he didn't seem like a perverted thief. Who would have thought that he was such a despicable person? Even I want to kill him now. That's right. Who would have thought that such a despicable and infamous person would appear by our side? I feel so disgusted. This person is clearly a bad person, but he's acting so innocent. He's so shameless. Right now, the Six Desires celestial sex people have been chasing after him, and some higher beings have even personally come out. He's simply courting death for daring to come here. Moreover, he might even defile someone's woman. We can't let such a person get away. This person deserves to die 10,000 times for his crimes. The things that his seniors did caused the heavens to be enraged, and if he doesn't die, the commoners won't be enraged. We have to kill him and hang his head on the city walls." Seeing how furious everyone was, the woman in the red dress felt quite happy and called out, "That's right. This kind of person deserves to die. Everyone, help me take down this person." The people in the surroundings furiously surrounded Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's expression fell. No matter how he tried to explain, it was useless, so he could only leave this place. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as Zhao Fu exploded out with a terrifying power. A massive aura flooded out, sending the people around him flying and crashing to the ground. Zhao Fu quickly escaped towards the city gates. The sky here was filled with restrictions, and there were also Dao realm experts standing guard. Zhao Fu did not dare to force his way in, so he could only leave through the city gates. Seeing Zhao Fu disappear, the people lying on the ground looked incredibly shocked. Wasn't this perverted thief's power a bit too terrifying? The woman in the red dress's face became pale, and she felt that she had underestimated this perverted thief. How had his power suddenly increased by so much? The people in the red dress did not lie on the ground for long before they immediately climbed up and chased after Zhao Fu, yelling, "Captured the perverted thief!" The people on the streets did not know what was going on, but seeing a large group of people chasing after Zhao Fu and yelling, they knew that this person was definitely an incredibly despicable perverted thief. Everyone charged at Zhao Fu, wanting to capture this perverted thief, Zhao Fu. A group of people blocked in front of Zhao Fu, looking incredibly confident as they said, "Perverted thief, you won't be able to escape today." Zhao Fu coldly harumphed and stomped on the ground. His body gave off a ferocious aura as he charged forwards incredibly quickly. Bang! 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 The people blocking in front of Zhao Fu were sent flying by Zhao Fu. They crashed to the ground and blood flowed out of the corners of their mouths. Some of them even fainted. Zhao Fu did not waste any time and continued to run towards the city gates. The soldiers at the city gates looked at Zhao Fu curiously and understood that something had happened, so they tried to stop Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not have any intention of stopping, and he gave off immense power as he sent everyone in front of him flying. Finally, he reached the outside of the Great Wall and turned into a ray of light as he shot towards the horizon. The woman in the red dress and the others rushed to the city gates and looked at Zhao Fu's disappearing expression. They had never thought that the perverted thief would be able to escape. However, there was nothing they could do. That perverted thief was incredibly powerful, and if they followed him, they would be sending themselves to their deaths. They did not have terrifying experts and soldiers at the city gates. Zhao Fu flew for a long time before stopping, feeling quite confused. Just what was going on? Wasn't this his first time in the spirit realm? Why does it seem like you've done a lot of bad things? You're like a street rat that everyone wants to beat up. News of the 6 Desire Celestial Sex, Celestial Evildoer, appearing in Hongming City quickly spread, causing massive waves. Chapter 2498. The ones who were the most shocked were naturally the 6 Desires Celestial Sect. They had been searching for that celestial evil this entire time, because things had spiraled out of their control. That celestial evil had grown too quickly and was a threat to the 6 Desire Celestial Sect. As the 6 Desire Celestial Sect guarding stone statue, it had given off many terrifying ripples, each one stronger than the last. If it did not kill him quickly, the 6 Desire Celestial Sect might suffer a calamity. After hearing about this, the higher beings of the 6 Desires Celestial Sect quickly rushed over. After searching around, they could not find anything. They could only return and continue to post rewards. The 6 higher beings of the 6 Desire Celestial Sect had serious expressions, and one of them said, "The 6 Desire Celestial statues were right to madly want to kill that person. Back then, we did not pay too much attention, but now they are afraid of his existence." Another person said, "Humph. Back then, I wanted to end the plan to perfect the 6 Desire Celestial art early, but you never agreed and even dragged the young sect master into it. Now, you've raised a tiger." The person next to him said, I never thought that celestial evil would grow so quickly and surpass our expectations. The previous celestial evil has found a good legatee. A beautiful woman said, even though that celestial evil poses a threat to the Six Desire Celestial sect, I feel that the Six Desire Celestial art is about to be perfected. After so many years of planning, that celestial evil might have already perfected it, which is why he's so terrifying. Another person agreed, yes, I agree. Perhaps that celestial evil has already perfected the Six Desire Celestial art, and we can't let him off. This has been bothering the Six Desires Celestial sect for countless years. The person who had spoken first sighed, but that boy is too cunning and seems to have a massive amount of faith. We can't find him. The beautiful woman said, I don't know why, but I have a feeling that celestial evil will cause massive waves in the spirit domain. We just need to wait for news. If he appears, we'll immediately head over. Another person said in agreement, the things that celestial evil has caused in the spirit domain are already infuriated. There are countless people who want to kill him, so if he appears, there will definitely be news. The higher beings of the Six Desire Celestial sect were all waiting for news of Zhao Fu's next appearance. They told the weaker disciples to be careful and to report to the sect if anything happened. The higher-ups of the Six Desire Celestial sect secretly sent experts to protect some of the female disciples, setting up a large net. The Six Desire Celestial art focused on abstinence, and the Six Desire Celestial chi it had was extremely pure and powerful. It could counter the Six Desires demonic chi. However, if the Six Desires demonic chi was too powerful, it could also devour the Six Desire Celestial chi, causing the person who cultivated the Six Desires demonic art to become many times more powerful. Moreover, it could help them break through their cultivation barriers, and it was a very precious treasure to them. These factions naturally had enmity towards the previous celestial desires, and it had enmity. These forces naturally had enmity with the previous immortal sinners, and almost all of them were related to women. In the Xianling Empire, a cold-looking middle-aged man sat on the throne and ordered his subordinates, you must find that celestial bastard before the Six Desires Celestial sect finds him. I still remember what happened back then. Although the ninth celestial bastard is dead, as his successor, he's the person I hate the most. Celestial, and Celestial King Emperor's Thousand. He's Celestial, I King, I's Emperor of Emperor of Demon. He is sect, Celestial of the Demon. The ministers hurriedly said, Your Majesty, that is the most obscene and evil cultivation technique in the domain. It is hated and reviled by the major forces of the spirit realm. If you learn that cultivation technique, not only will it greatly affect the reputation of the Xianling Empire, it may also cause the major forces to attack you. The cold-looking middle-aged man thought about it. He had originally wanted to see the special ability of the Six Desires demonic art on women. Back then, the ninth celestial evil had used this ability to steal the woman he loved. Now, he wanted to see for himself whether this power was as terrifying as it was. Although he wasn't interested in assaulting many women, he wanted to recapture the heart of the woman he loved. The woman he loved was originally the young master of a very powerful faction. After that incident, she did not control the faction and became the leader of the faction. Instead, she became an elder. Although the two of them occasionally met, they could not return to the way they used to be. Although the ninth generation immortal evil had been dead for so long, she still had that person in her heart. This really made the stern middle-aged man very angry, and even extremely hateful. That was why he wanted to learn this cultivation method and take back his woman. The previous generations of celestial evils had offended many enemies, and if he learned this cultivation method, it would be very dangerous. As such, he could only learn it secretly. The stern-looking middle-aged man nodded. I understand. Go and carry out my orders now. Capture that person for me at all costs. Only then did the ministers obey and leave the palace. Within a sect that was burning with flames, there was a coarse man with fiery hair. He could not help but loudly laugh as he said, the 12th generation celestial evil has finally appeared. I can once again start my plan to kill him. The man hated the 8th generation celestial evil to the bone. Thinking of him, he wanted to use the cruelest methods to kill that person. This was because when he was very young, that 8th generation celestial evil had defiled his mother in front of him. This was the most infuriating thing in his life, and he could not forget it. As such, he had desperately cultivated to become such a powerful person in order to kill the 8th generation celestial evil. However, the 8th generation celestial evil had been killed by someone else, so he could only place his gaze on his legatee. Following this, he participated in the hunt for the 9th generation celestial evil, the 10th generation celestial evil, and the 11th generation celestial evil. As long as it was a celestial evil, he would not let them off and would hunt them down. Yennair, don't go on like this. That 8th generation celestial evil has been dead for so long. Why haven't you let it go? If you continue like this, you'll always be furious. There was a beautiful woman with a fiery figure standing behind a man, and she looked at the man worriedly and guiltily. She was the man's mother. She was the one who had caused her child to become like this, and she did not want her son to continue like this. She felt incredibly guilty for letting him see her with someone else. However, back then, she could not resist and could only allow herself to be violated by the 8th generation celestial evil, and she could not help but enjoy it. Even though it had only been once, that feeling was deeply engraved in her mind. That was the happiest time she had ever been. Now that so much time had passed, she did not think about this anymore. She just hoped that her son would not worry about this. Chapter 2499. The man glared at the beautiful woman angrily. You don't have to care about my matters. I will definitely kill that immortal evildoer. With that, the man left. The beautiful woman lowered her head, tears falling from her eyes. She really didn't want things to go on like this. She didn't want the man to always be angry. She hoped that he could be normal like everyone else. Within the pavilion, a gentle-looking middle-aged man was playing chess with a gentle-looking, beautiful woman. The two of them seemed quite close as they chatted and laughed. A maid came in to report the news of the immortal evil's appearance. The gentle middle-aged man's expression became serious as he looked at the beautiful woman and said, I think I'll be leaving for a while. The sweet-tempered woman's smile disappeared and was replaced with a trace of sadness as she asked, Are you going to kill that celestial evil? The gentle middle-aged man nodded seriously. That immortal bastard must die. I don't want to see the two of us in love again, because scum like him cannot be together. The gentle, beautiful woman didn't say anything else and remained silent. The two of them used to be a loving couple, but the appearance of the 9th generation celestial evil changed everything. She was violated by the 9th generation celestial evil, creating a gap between them, and they could no longer be as loving as before. Although the middle-aged man didn't mind, and the gentle woman also wanted to let it go, she didn't know why, but she couldn't let it go. Sometimes, she would even imagine doing it with the 9th generation immortal evil. She felt sorry for her husband, so she didn't stop him. The middle-aged man made the sweet-tempered woman fall silent and did not say anything else. He understood that his wife was feeling terrible about that matter, so he wanted to kill that immortal evil even more. He did not want him to harm others, so he quickly left the pavilion. On a mountain peak surrounded by spirit chi, a white-haired old man with a long beard looked at the sea of clouds ahead and said, Yennair, does she know about this? A handsome young man stood behind him and replied, Miss Yennair already knows about this, but she's been cultivating diligently in the secret chamber and hasn't had much of a reaction. The old man heaved a sigh of relief. The 10th generation immortal evil has been dead for so long. It looks like she has finally let go of it. This is a good thing. The handsome young man asked, What about the 12th generation immortal evil? The old man's eyes turned cold. Kill. Right now, there was still a wave of killing intent within the elder's heart, because it was the 10th generation immortal evil that turned his most beloved daughter into her current state. She was silent and unsociable, no longer talking to others, and her heart was greatly hurt. Even though the 10th generation immortal bastard had been killed, the 12th generation immortal bastard's inheritor had to die, and he had to die a horrible death. In the end, they had to destroy this immortal evil inheritance. They could not be allowed to harm others. Now, everyone was very curious. The immortal bastard's inheritance was passed down like this. Every generation of immortal bastards would be killed, and not a single remnant soul or flesh would be left behind. However, after the inheritance disappeared for a period of time, it would reappear. In the underground cave, a blood-red-haired, evil-looking young man hugged two blood-red-haired, blood-red eyes, pointy ears, and tall, bewitching women. He gave a sinister smile and said, "After waiting for so long, little Tin's legatee has appeared again." Hearing this, the two flirtatious women smiled in delight and said, "Master, this time you must obtain the 6 Desires demonic art. With its power, you'll definitely become extremely powerful and become the 13th generation immortal devil. You'll make countless people fear you." The evil-looking young man laughed as he said, When that time comes, I'll play with whoever's women I want." The evil-looking young man had been the 10th generation immortal evil's best friend, and they had been friends for 10 or so years. The 10th generation immortal evil greatly trusted the evil-looking young man. However, the 10th generation immortal evil did not know that the evil-looking young man's goal was the 6 Desires demonic art. Back then, the 10th generation immortal evil was already very powerful, and the evil-looking young man could not kill the 10th generation immortal evil by himself. As such, he first leaked this information to the large factions and had them find the 10th generation immortal evil. He then pretended to be kind and saved the 10th generation immortal evil before launching a sneak attack and killing the 10th generation immortal evil. In the end, the evil-looking young man searched through the 10th generation immortal evil's corpse, but could not find the 6 Desires demonic art. In the end, in order to obtain that power, the evil-looking young man refined the 10th generation immortal evil's corpse into a medicinal pill and ate it. The evil-looking young man had been filled with confidence and thought that after eating this medicinal pill, he would be able to obtain a small amount of 6 Desires demonic chi. However, he was greatly disappointed and did not obtain any 6 Desires demonic chi. Following this, he joined the group that chased after the 11th generation immortal evil, but did not obtain anything. Now, he could only place his gaze on the 12th generation immortal evil. Within a courtyard filled with flowers, a few extremely beautiful women looked furious after hearing that the 12th generation immortal evil had appeared. A tall and slim woman with a noble aura said angrily, "That scum who harmed so many women has appeared again. This time, we must personally kill him and show him the consequences of harming us women." A beautiful and pure-looking woman nodded and said, "The immortal evil's legatee is a tumor in our spirit realm and has harmed us women for so many years. Not only do we have to kill that legatee, but we also have to destroy this legacy. We can't allow this legacy to continue harming people." A beautiful woman wearing a white dress gave a confident smile as she said, "It seems that the 12th generation immortal evil isn't very powerful. With our strength, we should be able to get rid of him." The black-robed woman, with a hint of viciousness on her face, snorted coldly. "At that time, we should have tied him to a pillar and paraded him through the streets of Spirit Realm. We would have humiliated him in all kinds of ways. Killing him directly would have been too easy on him." The tall and slim woman agreed. "That's right. That immortal evil's legatee has harmed so many of our women. Simply killing him will be letting him off too easily. We need to humiliate him and cut off his thing to warn other perverts." The other 3 women smiled and nodded, supporting this idea. Within a luxurious room, a golden-clothed young man with a noble aura said with a cold expression, "This boy dares to openly appear in a large city. He's seeking death. Listen to my orders and kill him at all costs. Anyone who dares to offend me can only die." The people standing below obeyed and left the room. This young man was the prince of a very powerful empire in the spirit realm. His empire was ranked 3rd in the entire spirit realm, and he had a peak imperial bloodline. He had an incredibly prestigious status and was at the Emperor Heaven realm. Chapter 2500. He had great enmity with the 11th generation celestial bastard because the 11th generation celestial bastard had taken 3 of his concubines. He had not taken 3 at once, but had taken 1 at a time. If he had taken 3 at once, he would have been able to accept it. However, he had taken 3 in a row, showing that he did not place him in his eyes at all and was incredibly arrogant. This made him feel incredibly angry and humiliated. He had disregarded everything to hunt down the 11th generation celestial bastard, and the Empire had suffered great humiliation because of this. The young man was a future emperor, yet 3 of his concubines had been taken in a row. They could not accept this. They had not hesitated to send out all of the higher beings of the Empire to hunt down the 11th generation celestial bastard. In the end, the experts chased him all the way to Greenwood Mountain and killed him. The golden-clothed young man chopped up the 11th generation celestial bastard's corpse into 5 pieces and fed them to dogs. His head was made into an ornament and stored in his room. As for the women taken by the 11th generation celestial bastard, he had found them and did not hesitate to kill them. Even though they were quite beautiful, he did not like women who had been touched by other men. After killing the 11th generation celestial bastard, the golden-clothed young man's anger had not dissipated. Now that the 12th generation celestial bastard had appeared, the golden-clothed young man shifted his anger onto him. As such, he definitely had to kill the 12th generation celestial bastard. He hoped that after killing the 12th generation celestial bastard, he would cut off his head and store it. A black aura spread out and gave off an eerie and terrifying aura. Within a palace, a beautiful woman with a bewitching figure and purple lips gave off a bewitching and devilish aura sat on a throne. Below her stood a beautiful woman with a mature figure and a mature figure. She wore a black palace dress and gave off a cold aura. The beautiful woman gave an alluring smile and said, "Daughter, the 12th generation celestial bastard has appeared. That 12th generation immortal bastard has appeared. I want you to bring him back here. He can be considered your father's successor. Right now, he's not very strong and can be easily killed by others." The cold woman said, "Mother, what do you want him for? Right now, all the major forces of the spirit realm are chasing after him. With our strength, we can't protect him. If the news gets out, the demon spirit palace might be destroyed." The beautiful woman rubbed her chin and licked her lips as she charmingly smiled and said, "Then you should be more discreet. Your damnable father was killed for so many years and caused me to suffer for so many years. Now I want to experience what it's like to have your father around. He inherited that cultivation method and should have that ability." The cold woman frowned. She understood what her mother meant. Looking at the cold woman's expression, the beautiful woman flirtatiously smiled and said, "What is it, daughter? Aren't you happy? When I catch him, I can let you enjoy him first. It's a feeling that you can't imagine." The cold woman looked at the beautiful woman with her beautiful eyes. "Mother, are you sure you want to capture the 12th generation immortal evil? Don't blame me if anything happens." The beautiful woman giggled. I know." The ice-cold woman didn't say anything else. She turned around and left the palace, flying to the side and disappearing with the others. Finally, his gaze turned to a restaurant. As the true 12th generation immortal genius, Yao Yi, he had a look of confusion on his face. He did not understand what was going on. Ever since the 6 supreme beings wanted to kill him, he had been extremely careful and did not dare to reveal any information. He did not even dare to go to some scary places. He understood how many people wanted to kill him, and with his current strength, he had no way to resist. He could only endure for now, and when he was strong enough, he would take revenge on those people and sleep with all their women. Now that he heard the news that the 12th generation immortal evil had appeared in Hongming City, he really didn't understand what was going on. Why had he suddenly appeared in Hongming City? This news must be fake. Someone must be impersonating him. Damn it, he didn't know which despicable person dared to impersonate him. If he knew his identity, he would definitely make him die a horrible death. In his embrace was a seductively dressed woman with a pure aura. This woman was the red-dressed woman's friend, and she had now become Yao Ye's woman. The pure-looking woman said concernedly, "Husband, don't worry. What should we do next?" Yao Ye thought for a moment before saying, "I want to go there and see who it is that's impersonating me. If it's an ordinary person, they won't have that ability because they don't have the 6 desires demonic chi. Moreover, I have a feeling that if I go there, I'll have great gains and will be of great help to my 6 desires demonic art." The queen from before said worriedly, "Husband, that impersonator has caused such a huge commotion and everyone is chasing after you. But now that the imposter has caused such a huge commotion and everyone is chasing after you, it will be very dangerous for you to go there." The pure-looking woman also said, "That's right. It's too dangerous right now. Let's wait for a while before going. Right now, the most important thing is to ensure our own safety." Yao Yi said, "It's very dangerous to go there right now. A few higher beings have just finished searching that place, and it might be the safest place. Moreover, it might be of great help to me, so I have to go." Seeing that she could not dissuade Yao Yi, the queen could only say, "Husband, we have to go as well. You can't abandon us. Perhaps we'll be of help at crucial times." Yao Yi was only powerful because he was teaching them the 6 desires demonic art, so he did not refuse and smiled as he said, "Then you all have to be obedient and don't make trouble for me." The women smiled and said coquettishly, "We understand." By now, Zhao Fu had wretchedly escaped to a barren mountain and panted raggedly. After escaping from Rumbling City, Zhao Fu immediately sensed a few terrifying auras chasing after him, and Zhao Fu could only choose to run. As time passed, the people giving off terrifying auras did not lessen, and more people came. There were even higher beings among them. Zhao Fu did not know what was going on. He had not caused any trouble. Why did so many people want to kill him and call him a perverted thief? Moreover, he had not touched a single woman. Zhao Fu could not understand what was going on, so he decided to hide in the barren mountain for a while and come out after the commotion died down. By now, Lan Yu, Long Qingqing, Jin Yue, and the others had arrived at the spirit domain. They had just arrived and heard about this, and they looked quite confused. They had just arrived with Zhao Fu and had never thought that Zhao Fu would have done so many bad things and caused such a commotion. Now, countless people in the spirit domain wanted to kill him. Was Zhao Fu really the 12th generation celestial bastard? They felt quite doubtful and could not confirm it, but they felt that it was not the case. Chapter 25:01. A few days later, Zhao Fu sat on a boulder, and a few crystal beads floated in front of him, giving off different kinds of lights. While Zhao Fu had been hiding in the wilderness, he had not wasted any time and had focused on creating pseudo-spirit beads. This was mainly because Zhao Fu was quite curious about this, and he had nothing else to do. Because the elder had given him a crafting book and recorded his experiences, Zhao Fu had learned how to create pseudo-spirit beads in just a few days. The pseudo-spirit beads in front of him had been created by Zhao Fu. The method was actually quite simple. The first was to gather spirit. There was a special magic art for this, and one could use this magic art to gather spirit rather than using a magic formation. Gathering spirit meant gathering spirit chi and spirituality in the surroundings. Anyone could gather spirit chi, as cultivation required spirit chi. If one could not gather spirit chi, they would not be able to cultivate. Gathering spirit chi was quite easy, but gathering spirituality was quite difficult. Spirituality was a kind of invisible spiritual power. It was not like spiritual energy. Spirituality could not exist on its own. For example, it could rely on an object. Even though the spirit domain's spirit chi had extremely weak spirituality, if one did not know how to do it, the spirit chi gathered would not contain spirituality. In order to gather spirituality, one had to have inspiration. Inspiration was a type of reaction to spirit chi and spirituality. The spirit race was born with inspiration, so they could easily gather spirit chi and spirituality. If it was someone from another race, they would need to learn it, and As their cultivation increased, they would also gain inspiration. With Zhao Fu's Emperor Heaven Realm strength, he definitely had inspiration. Moreover, Zhao Fu found that when he was in celestial mode, his inspiration was incredibly strong. It was dozens of times stronger than normal, and he could easily sense spirit chi and spirituality in the surroundings. After obtaining inspiration, one had to use the sense of inspiration to use one's own mental strength to gather spirituality. As mentioned before, spirituality could not exist by itself and needed to rely on something. The spirit domain's spirit chi contained weak spirituality, so it could gather spirit chi and spirituality together. After gathering spirit chi and spirituality, one had to build structures. The spirit chi gathered would have many attributes. Normally, it would be metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. There are also some rarer attributes. It would be relatively easy to construct an attribute structure. For example, to construct the structure of an earth spirit bead, one only needed to gather the earth spirit chi and construct the structure. The structure could be made into a circle, a square, or a triangle, but the structure had to be very stable. Most people would choose to make it into a circle because it was the most stable shape. If it was to construct a spirit pearl structure with several attributes, it would be more difficult because there would be conflicts between attributes, and it would be difficult to fuse their attributes. Therefore, the price of a pseudo-spirit bead with several attributes was 10 times that of a normal pseudo-spirit bead with only one attribute. In order to create several pseudo-spirit beads of different attributes, one must have a strong understanding of the corresponding spirit chi and spirituality. After gathering spirit chi and spirituality and constructing a structure, it would form a small ball of light. After this small ball of light was integrated into a crystal ball, the crystal ball would become a pseudo-spirit bead. Because of this, pseudo-spirit beads were not very useful, as they only gathered spirit chi and spirituality together. Moreover, they were quite weak and not very powerful. True spirit beads had very powerful spiritual nature and spiritual energy, which was why they had all kinds of powerful effects. They were not made of crystal, and some are made of wood, some are made of stone, some are made of water, and some are made of fire. However, they were all extremely hard. Their structures were quite stable, and they were highly condensed from spirit chi. As such, they were incredibly tough and would not easily shatter. Pseudo-spirit beads were man-made items, and their spirit energy and spirituality were quite weak. They could only be used as toys for fun and did not have any other uses. However, Zhao Fu had thought of other uses for them. Within the card world, Zhao Fu had Eileen create her own elemental cavalry corps. The card world was made up of all sorts of elements, which was different from the Heaven Awakened world, which was made up of spirit chi. With the method of creating pseudo-spirit beads, it would be possible to create elemental beads. If these elemental beads had powerful elemental energy, they would be able to greatly increase the strength of cavalry. Not only could elemental beads be used by elemental cavalry, but ordinary soldiers could also use them to increase their strength. If he could create pseudo-spirit beads with powerful spirit energy, he could also give them to Qin's soldiers to increase their strength. This method of creating pseudo-spirit beads was very useful to Zhao Fu. However, things were not so simple. Firstly, there was a limit to how much spirit chi and spirituality a person could gather. Gathering a large amount of spirit chi and spirituality required a lot of energy. Secondly, pseudo-spirit beads were constructed by humans and were not created by the heavens and earth, so they could be easily damaged. Thirdly, spirit chi could not be gathered by humans, and it could be gathered by powerful magic formations. However, it was very difficult for ordinary magic formations to gather spirit chi. Fourthly, Qi needed a large number of pseudo-spirit beads. Now, Zhao Fu could create pseudo-spirit beads that were quite powerful, but Zhao Fu could not create many by himself. He could only make 10 or so per day. However, Qin had tens of billions of soldiers. If he could make 10 or so per day, how long would it take for all of them to be used? As such, he needed to create a large number of pseudo-spirit beads to be useful to Qin. If he could not solve these 4 problems, pseudo-spirit beads would not be useful. Zhao Fu could not solve this problem now, so he could only wait until he returned to Qin to study it. Over the next few days, apart from studying how to create pseudo-spirit beads, Zhao Fu also thought about what to do in the future. Zhao Fu did not know what had happened to cause a large group of people to chase after him. In the future, he would have to be more careful and not reveal his identity or aura. There was also the most important thing, which was awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star. Zhao Fu had a very bad idea, which was to rely on pseudo-spirit beads to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star. Zhao Fu needed to collect metal, wood, water, fire, earth, yin, and yang. These were the 7 most common types of holy spirit beads, so he definitely could not lack them. He also needed wind, lightning, and ice spirit beads, as well as the star spirit race's spatial spirit beads and time spirit beads. The more spirit beads he obtained, the greater his chances of awakening the spirit Emperor Star. Apart from these spirit beads, Zhao Fu also needed a large amount of spirit race fate. Spirit race energy was not enough, and he also needed a large amount of spirit bead fate to awaken the spirit race's supreme Emperor Star. After all, the supreme Emperor Star was a fate item, and without a large amount of fate, it would be useless for Zhao Fu to fuse with the multi-spirit beads. Chapter 25:02. Zhao Fu decided to see if there was any way to obtain the spirit race's fate. Right now, Zhao Fu had not thought of anything yet, and he planned to collect all sorts of spirit orbs before dealing with this matter. Apart from these things, Zhao Fu now had the yin-yang soul fire, the wood spirit body, the metal spirit bone, the fire spirit heart, and the water spirit blood. He was only missing the earth spirit power before he could obtain the yin-yang 5 elements constitution. With the yin-yang 5 elements constitution, he would be able to fuse with spirit orbs and increase his spirit energy. As such, Zhao Fu needed to find something that contained powerful earth spirit power to fuse with. This was the spirit realm, and there were all sorts of treasures of the spirit race. Finding a treasure with powerful earth spirit power would not be too difficult. Now that a few days had passed, the storm outside had most likely calmed down. Zhao Fu smiled as he put away the spirit orbs floating in front of him, and he planned to leave this barren mountain and ask around where he could find earth spirit treasures. A few hours later, Zhao Fu did not dare to go to Hongming City, and he flew towards a large city. It would be more convenient if he went to a large city. Suddenly, a beautiful woman with a graceful figure, long black hair, and a veil over her face appeared in front of Zhao Fu, and she gave off a celestial aura. She looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes. Zhao Fu was given a big fright and hurriedly flew to the side. This woman's target was evidently Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu felt that she was someone who had come to kill him. Moreover, her aura was quite powerful, and she definitely wanted to escape. At the same time, he felt that it was quite strange that no one else had found him, and he did not know how this woman had found him. It was as if she had been waiting for him. "Wait, I won't harm you." Seeing that Zhao Fu was about to escape, the woman spoke in an enchanting voice that seemed to attract people over. Zhao Fu thought for a moment and stopped. This woman indeed had no intention of harming him, or else she would have already done so. He asked, "What do you want from me?" The fairy-like woman said seriously, "I want you to leave Spirit Realm and never come back. I will guarantee your safety." Zhao Fu felt quite strange. He had just arrived at the Spirit Realm and had not done anything yet, so why was he being asked to leave? He had come to awaken the spirit race's imperial star, so how could he leave just like that? "I won't go. I have my own business and need to stay in Spirit Realm." The white-robed beauty frowned. "Could it be that you want to avenge your seniors? You can't do it with your strength. Right now, there are countless people in Spirit Realm who want to kill you. If you don't leave now, you will die here just like your seniors." Zhao Fu came back to his senses and realized that the beautiful woman had most likely mistaken him for someone else. So he said, "I'm sorry. I think you got the wrong person. I'm not the person you're looking for." The beautiful woman in the white dress said, "You don't have to lie to me. I'm not like those other people. I relied on my body's senses to find you, so I can't be wrong." Zhao Fu was speechless. His mind was in a mess. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know this beautiful woman at all. Why was her body responding to him? The beautiful woman in the white dress continued to say, "I know that your talent is extraordinary and might be the best talent in history. That's why your six desires demonic chi is so powerful. It's much more powerful than your seniors. I also believe that you'll become a peerless expert in the future, and your name will shake the heaven-awakened world. However, you're too weak right now and need to endure to ensure your safety. Listen to me and leave the spirit domain." Zhao Fu finally realized that it had something to do with his six desires' demonic energy. He chuckled and said, "I think you found the wrong person. I'm not from Spirit Realm. This is my first time here." A trace of anger appeared on the white-robed woman's face. Since the 11th generation immortal evildoer left his inheritance in another region, how could you still be so bold to dare to return here? Don't you know the trouble your seniors caused? Zhao Fu fell helpless and didn't know how to explain. He couldn't tell her his true identity. Could he? That would be seeking death. Moreover, he couldn't explain the six desires demonic art either. That was a terrifying art that could tempt even higher beings. Zhao Fu was worried that the beautiful woman would try to steal it from him, so he decided not to explain his identity and would wait until he had a chance to leave. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile and said, "My seniors are in the spirit domain, so I wanted to come here and have a look." Hearing Zhao Fu admit his identity, the beautiful woman's expression relaxed a bit. "What's there to see here? Is your life more important than that? Also, how could you have been so careless as to reveal your identity in Hongming City?" What had happened in Hongming City really couldn't be blamed on Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu had never thought that such a big thing would happen, and he felt quite awkward as he smiled and said, "I never thought that such a thing would happen, nor did I think that that woman would have something that could sense me." The beautiful woman explained, "Now, the Six Desire Celestial sect knows how terrifying your potential is and that you're a threat to them, so they're determined to kill you. As such, they gave you a pearl that can sense you for free. This pearl can sense the six desires demonic chi within your body. Even if you hide your aura, you won't be able to avoid it." Zhao Fu felt quite startled. Wasn't he in great danger now? Moreover, this matter was related to the Six Desire Celestial sect. It seemed that he was destined to come here. However, it seemed that the pearl would only react if it touched him. If it did not touch his body and he hid his aura, it would be very difficult for others to recognize him. The beautiful woman looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and said, "Are you willing to leave the spirit domain now?" Zhao Fu shook his head and said with certainty, "I don't want to. I came here for something very important, so I can't just leave like this." The beautiful woman frowned and said, "I already said that with your abilities, you won't be able to take revenge for your seniors. It's best for you to be more well-behaved and develop elsewhere." Zhao Fu thought about it and suddenly smiled as he said, "I didn't come to the spirit domain to take revenge for them. I came to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, which is why I took such a great risk." The beautiful woman's aura was incredibly terrifying, and it was possible that she was a higher being. With how dangerous the spirit domain was, things would be much easier with her help. That was why Zhao Fu was willing to tell her about awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star. "What? You can awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star?" Hearing Zhao Fu's words, the beautiful woman looked at Zhao Fu in shock. The Supreme Emperor Star of a race was an incredibly rare and terrifying thing. It represented the sovereign of a race and could even affect the fate of a race. Large races did not have many of them, and they were greatly valued by the entire world. The spirit race's Supreme Emperor Star was harder to awaken than other races' Emperor Stars, and they were much rarer. Chapter 25:03. Hearing Zhao Fu's words, the beautiful woman looked at Zhao Fu in shock. After a while, the beautiful woman came back to her senses and asked seriously, can you really awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star? You're not lying to me? Zhao Fu nodded seriously and said, I can already faintly sense the spirit race's Emperor Star, but I need some other things to awaken it. The beautiful woman thought about it and said, no wonder the Six Desires celestial sect wants to kill you at all costs. So you already have such terrifying potential. Looks like I underestimated you. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, that's why I want to stay in the spirit domain. Only here can I awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star. Please help me once, Senior. I will definitely thank Senior in the future. If Senior doesn't want to, please let me leave. If she was willing to help him, he would be happy to accept. If she did not want to, he would not force her. After all, he could not stay here forever. He still had many things to take care of. The beautiful woman in the white dress started to think. Even if you want to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, you won't be able to change the dangers here. Even with my help, it won't be of any use. Putting aside everyone else, just those seniors of yours have enmity with over 100 higher beings. Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite startled. Over 100 higher beings was simply too terrifying. He had unknowingly been swept in such a terrifying vortex. The beautiful woman looked at Zhao Fu seriously and said, do you still want to stay here and awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star? Zhao Fu thought about it and decided that he had to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, so he nodded seriously. A trace of a smile appeared on the beautiful woman's face as she said, your bloodline's people are indeed incredibly daring. I can help you, but if you encounter danger that even I cannot defend against, I might abandon you at any moment. Do you understand? Having the help of such a powerful person would definitely be better than being alone. So he smiled and said, I understand. Thank you, Senior, for your help. The beautiful woman smiled and lightly nodded. Zhao Fu continued to say, Senior is willing to help me, but I still do not know Senior's name. What is Senior's name, and where are you from? The beautiful woman in the white dress replied, my name is Qin Yao, and I'm from the Spirit River sect. What's your name? Zhao Fu replied with a smile, my name is Zhao Fu. The beautiful woman in the white dress smiled as she asked, Zhao Fu, what do you need to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star? I can get it for you. There were indeed many benefits, and things were easier with this almighty. Zhao Fu smiled and replied, to me, the most important things are the heavenly spirit pearls of various elements and the vast spirit race's providence. After hearing Zhao Fu's words, Qin Yao thought for a moment and said, the Holy Spirit Orb is an extremely rare treasure. It's useful even for powerful people like me. It's very difficult to obtain it, and I don't have one with me right now. There's also the vast spirit race's providence. I can let you enter the Spirit River sect and become its disciple. The Spirit River sect is a very powerful sect in the spirit domain and should be able to provide you with a large amount of providence. However, once you awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star, everyone in the spirit domain will know that you become a part of the Spirit River sect. When that time comes, everyone in the spirit domain will destroy the Spirit River sect. I can't let my sect die with you. Hearing this, a disappointed look appeared on Zhao Fu's face. He had thought that this matter would be quite easy to resolve and had never thought that it would be so difficult. Zhao Fu thought about it and was about to speak when a pleasant voice suddenly sounded out. Big sis. A sweet-sounding voice suddenly sounded. Big sister, why are you here? Zhao Fu turned and saw a peerlessly beautiful woman in a white dress with long, black hair and a celestial aura fly over to Qin Yao's side. Qin Yao glanced at Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu understood what she meant and became careful. I didn't have much to do, so I came out for a walk, Qin Yao said as she smiled at the woman in front of her, who was her little sister, Qinghe. Qin Yi looked at her big sister with her beautiful eyes and smiled as she said, Big sis, I've been your little sister for so many years, you can't lie to me. You must have come here because of the immortal sinner. Seeing that she could not hide it, Qin Yao admitted it. I'm here for the celestial bastard. Qinghe's smile faded as she asked worriedly, Big sis, you still can't forget the ninth celestial bastard? He's been dead for so many years. Seeing how worried her little sister was, Qing Yao lightly laughed as she said, I don't have that feeling anymore. I'm here because that person is his legatee, and I'm only here because of him. Don't worry, I'll just take a look and won't get involved. Just as a trace of a smile appeared on Qing He's face, his expression froze as he looked at Zhao Fu and asked, Who is he? Qing Yao gave an awkward smile as she said, Would you believe me if I told you that he's my new disciple? Qing He lightly harumphed and said angrily, I definitely can't. He's that celestial evil, right? Qing Yao smiled bitterly and nodded. He is the 12th generation immortal spawn. Qing He looked at his big sister angrily and said, Big sister, do you really not know how dangerous it is? Even if you're an almighty being, you might die if you get involved in this. Even our sect might be destroyed. Qing Yao said seriously, I know that, and I told him that if he encountered something dangerous, something that could threaten my sect, I would give up on him and not care about it anymore. Qing He was still quite displeased and said, Big sis, I feel that we shouldn't have any relationship with this fellow. Everything was done by his bloodline, and they deserve retribution. Qing Yao said, All right, I've already decided not to make any trouble for the sect. Also, he can awaken the spirit race's supreme emperor star and will surpass all celestial evils in the future to become the spirit race's sovereign. What? He could awaken the spirit race's supreme emperor star? Hearing this, Qing He looked at Zhao Fu in shock and sized him up. Can he really awaken the spirit race's emperor star? Big sis, don't lie to me. Qing Yao lightly laughed as she said, Why would I lie to you? Now that the Six Desires celestial sect wants to kill him at all costs, this shows how threatening he is. Moreover, the Six Desires demonic chi within his body is hundreds of times stronger than the 9th generation immortal spawn. The 9th generation immortal spawn is also a peerless genius, but he's more than 100 times stronger than the 9th generation immortal spawn. Do you think he can awaken the spirit race's emperor star? Qing He nodded in shock. If that's really the case, then he might indeed awaken the spirit race's emperor star and become the sovereign of the spirit race. Qing Yao smiled as she said, Are you still against me? If he becomes the sovereign of the spirit race, it will bring unimaginable benefits to our Spirit River sect. A trace of a smile appeared on Qing He's face as he said, I'm not against it now. Big sis, tell me your next plan. Chapter 2504. Qing Yao replied, Right now, he only needs various Holy Spirit pearls and a large amount of the spirit race's fate to awaken the spirit race's emperor star. I will help him obtain those things. Hearing this, Qing He thought for a while before saying, Holy Spirit pearls are very rare, and most factions view them as treasures. As for the spirit race's fate, I feel that it will be quite difficult. Qing Yao lightly nodded. It will indeed be quite difficult. Yes, it is a little difficult. Now that everyone is chasing after him, we should be more careful. Qing Yi's expression was serious as he looked at Zhao Fu. Boy, you're quite lucky to have meta sisters. If it was anyone else, they would have long since killed you and would not have risked their lives to help you. If you awaken the spirit race's emperor star, remember our kindness towards you. Zhao Fu replied seriously, I will definitely repay your kindness in the future and will not forget it. A trace of a smile appeared on Qing Yi's face. At least you're tactful. At that moment, Zhao Fu said, Seniors, apart from Holy Spirit pearls, I also need an Earth-type treasure that contains powerful Earth-type energy and spirituality. Qing Yi smiled and was about to reply when a cold-looking middle-aged man giving off a powerful aura flew over. A cold-looking middle-aged man giving off a powerful aura quickly flew over and looked at Qing Yao as he said emotionally, Qing Yao, long time no see. This person was the emperor of the Xianling Empire, and he was called Xian Yi. He was the person who had wanted to learn the Six Desires demonic art, but had been stopped by the ministers. Looking at Xian Yi in front of her, Qing Yao felt quite startled. She knew that Xian Yi would definitely kill Zhao Fu, but her expression did not change, and she said coldly, long time no see. Xian Yi looked at Qing Yao and said passionately, Can't we go back to the past? You have a place in my heart, and I've been waiting for you to return to my side. Qing Yao looked at Xian Yi and slightly frowned. It's been so long, and what happened between us is already in the past. In actuality, even if he did not appear, I would not be with you. Don't be so fixated on these things. It won't be good for either of us. Xian Yi looked somewhat angry. Why? Did I not treat you well? Also, don't think that I don't know what you did with that 9th-generation celestial spawn. Are you still thinking about him? Qing Yao's face was cold. So what if I did? Boom! A huge force burst out from Xian Yi's body, and the surrounding atmosphere instantly froze, as if a huge mountain was pressing down on him. Xian Yi looked at Qing Yao angrily. Zhao Fu felt quite startled. This person's body gave off a terrifying power that was even stronger than ordinary higher beings. If he was caught by this person, he would not even have a chance to escape, so he became even more wary. Qing He coldly harumphed and exploded out with terrifying power as he said coldly, Xian Yi, do you think we sisters are afraid of you? Xian Yi quickly came back to his senses and retracted his aura as he said apologetically, Qing Yao, I'm sorry, I couldn't control my emotions. You know that I truly love you. Qing Yao's face was cold. I've already said not to do this. I don't want to say it a second time. Besides, you should have many women in the palace now. You can find them. Xian Yi's expression was a little unsightly. He suddenly turned to look at Zhao Fu. He hadn't noticed earlier, but now he realized that there was a young man standing beside Qing Yao. Who are you? Hearing this, Qing Yao and Qing He felt quite startled. Now that Xian Yi had turned to look at Zhao Fu's identity might have been exposed. If Zhao Fu's identity was exposed, he would definitely fight with Xian Yi. They were not afraid of Xian Yi even if they worked together, but he might not have come alone. Moreover, there might be other experts around who wanted to kill Zhao Fu. Qing Yao's expression did not change as she said coldly, He's my disciple. Don't treat him with that attitude. Xian Yi looked at Zhao Fu suspiciously. He sensed that Zhao Fu's aura was quite ordinary, and there was nothing special about him. Zhao Fu felt quite flustered. Fortunately, he had the celestial concealment token. It would be very difficult for experts below half-step celestial to notice anything different about him. Without the celestial concealment token, his identity might have been exposed. Moreover, only women related to the 6 desires demonic qi would be able to sense the 6 desires demonic qi within Zhao Fu's body. Xian Yi retracted his gaze and looked at Qing Yao as he asked, What are you doing here? Is it for the 12th celestial evil? Qing Yao said coldly, I'm not interested in telling you. We're leaving. Qing Yao did not want to waste any time. The longer they stayed here, the more likely it was that Zhao Fu's identity would be exposed, and it was possible that other experts would be drawn over. After speaking, Qing Yao brought Qing He and Zhao Fu and flew away, not giving Xian Yi any time to reply. Seeing the 3 of them fly away, Xian Yi once again looked quite furious. He just wanted to capture the 12th celestial evil and torture him to death so that he could learn the 6 desires demonic art and have Qing Yao. After flying for a while, Qing Yao, Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu came to a peaceful valley. Qing Yao sensed the surroundings and said, This place is quite safe. There's no need to worry about other people disturbing us. Qing He let out a breath as he said, That was quite dangerous. I almost felt like I was discovered. Qing Yao lightly nodded and looked at Zhao Fu as she said, Your background shouldn't be simple, right? If I wasn't related to the celestial evil, I wouldn't have been able to discover your true identity. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, I do indeed have a treasure that can hide my identity. Ordinary higher beings will find it difficult to discover my identity. Qing He looked at Zhao Fu and said, Then tell me your identity. Apart from being the 12th celestial evil, what other identities do you have? Zhao Fu felt quite troubled as he said, That's my secret. It's hard to say. Qing He lightly harumphed as he said, We helped you, but you're not willing to tell us your identity. Aren't you going too far? Qing Yao said to Qing Yao, Zhao Fu most likely has his own reasons. Since he's not willing to tell us, don't force him. She then looked at Zhao Fu as she said, We'll be staying together for a period of time. You can call me master from now on. Zhao Fu nodded. Qing He said, you can also call me second master, understand? Zhao Fu felt quite helpless as he said, I understand, big master, second master. A trace of a smile appeared on Qing He's face as he said, that's more like it. You mentioned a treasure containing earth-type spiritual energy. This thing should be useful to you. As he spoke, Qing He took out a piece of soil that was as big as a palm and gave off a faint yellow light, as well as an earth-type fragrance. Qing He explained, this is essence spirit soil. It's a very precious type of soil that contains powerful earth-type spiritual energy. Just a little bit of it can fill the earth with life. Chapter 25:05. Zhao Fu could sense that this Yuan spirit earth was very powerful and should be able to fuse into his body. He smiled as he took the Yuan spirit earth and said, thank you, second master. Qing Yi lightly laughed and asked, what do you want the Yuan spirit earth for? Zhao Fu explained, I already have the yin-yang soul flame with spirit god, fire spirit heart, metal spirit bone, and water spirit blood. Now, I only need the earth spirit to obtain the yin-yang 5-element body. Qing He nodded and said, the yin-yang 5-element body is a very powerful constitution in the spirit domain and will be of great help in awakening the spirit race's emperor star. Fuse this Yuan spirit earth into your body and will help you look around. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, thank you, masters. Following this, Zhao Fu sat down cross-legged on a patch of grass and prepared to fuse the Yuan spirit earth into his body. Qing He and Qing Yao stood at the side and looked around for Zhao Fu. After fusing the Yuan spirit earth into his body, Zhao Fu started to use his power to break down the Yuan spirit earth. The Yuan spirit earth slowly turned into dust that fused into Zhao Fu's organs. After absorbing the Yuan spirit earth, his organs gave off a faint yellow light and an earthy aura. Zhao Fu's body also gave off a yellow light. Qing He watched as Zhao Fu fused with the Yuan spirit earth and suddenly turned to look at Qing Yao and asked curiously, big sister, you said that his 6 desires demonic chi is 100 times more powerful than the 9th generation celestial sin, and that ordinary people would not be able to discover his identity. Are you using your body to sense where he is? Hearing this, Qing Yao's face became slightly red, and she said softly, Seeing his big sister like this, Qing He understood and asked in surprise, big sister, don't tell me you have a reaction to him? Qing Yao's face became even redder as she said softly, I don't know why, but the feeling he gives me is even stronger than the 9th generation celestial sin. The previous celestial sins did not give me this feeling, and I don't know why. Qing Yi looked at his big sister and asked, were you holding back this entire time? Qing Yao nodded with a red face. Don't tell him about this. I don't want to do that with him. Qing Yi smiled as he said, big sis, the 9th generation evildoer has been dead for so long. Do you want to continue like this? I think that brat was sent to you by fate. Otherwise, why would you have such a greater reaction to him than the 9th generation immortal? Also, we'll be by his side next. Are you sure you can bear it? It's that brat's honor to have a beauty like you. He definitely won't reject you. Qing Yao said with a red face. Qing He, don't say that I don't want to be that kind of woman. Qing He smiled as he said, all right, I won't say it, but I do want to try that feeling. Qing Yao hurriedly reminded him, you can't do that, or you'll be trapped and unable to break free. Hearing his sister's words, Qing He smiled and replied that he understood. However, he was even more curious about this matter. By now, the origin spirit earth had turned into dust and fused into Zhao Fu's organs. His organs gave off countless traces of yellow light, and a layer of dirt appeared on them, making them look as if they were made of dirt. His organs slowly wriggled within his body as massive waves of earth spirit energy spread out within Zhao Fu's body, and Zhao Fu's body started to go through changes. In the end, Zhao Fu's organs seemed to come to life and wriggled within Zhao Fu's body, giving off a faint yellow light. Zhao Fu's constitution had become much stronger, and he felt that his body was much more resilient than before. Zhao Fu had successfully obtained the earth spirit's filth. Boom! An explosion suddenly sounded out as Zhao Fu exploded out with a massive aura that spread out. His body gave off 7 lights that illuminated the surroundings. Qing He and Qing Yao looked at Zhao Fu. The heaven and earth spirit qi in the surroundings quickly flowed into Zhao Fu's body, and the aura that Zhao Fu gave off became stronger and stronger. Swish! The sound of the air being torn sounded out as a black and white light shot out from Zhao Fu's head and quickly shot into the sky. It then spread out in the sky, and a black and white Tai Chi diagram appeared. This Tai Chi diagram slowly spun as yin and yang energy in the surroundings quickly flowed into it. The Tai Chi diagram absorbed countless traces of yin and yang energy and gradually grew, becoming a 10,000-meter wide Tai Chi diagram that gave off a massive yin and yang aura. Swish, 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 swish. 5 sounds of the air being torn sounded out as 5 rays of light shot out from Zhao Fu's body. They were fiery, blue, golden, yellow, and green, and they shot towards 5 different directions on the Tai Chi diagram. A massive magic formation appeared. This magic formation had the Tai Chi diagram at the center, and there were many lines around it. It was quite complicated and profound, and it gave off 5 colored lights. After the magic formation appeared, the terrifying shock waves could be felt from very far away. Countless people felt a wave of fear, and their bodies felt cold. The massive magic formation in the sky spun, giving off a massive attractive force, as if all of the world's spirit chi was gathering towards that direction. It was like a gust of wind, and even ordinary people could clearly sense it. The horizon was covered by rainbow-colored light as countless traces of spirit chi gathered like a flood. A gust of wind blew in that direction, sweeping up some dried leaves and branches, and it gave off massive ripples that could cause anyone to feel shocked. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a rainbow-colored light descended from the massive magic formation and landed on Zhao Fu's body. A massive wave of spirit chi continuously entered Zhao Fu's body, causing massive changes to Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's yin and yang soul flame, metal spirit bone, wood spirit body, water spirit blood, earth spirit heart, and fire spirit heart all gave off intense lights and fused with each other. Qing Yao and Qing He looked at Zhao Fu in shock. The ripples that Zhao Fu had caused were quite big, and it was possible that he had attracted the attention of many people. Now, they could only hope that Zhao Fu would hurry up and not attract unnecessary people. Otherwise, the consequences would be dire. The magic formation in the sky continuously sent large amounts of energy into Zhao Fu's body, and the rainbow-colored light from before had turned into a pillar of light that stood between the heavens and earth. As the massive amounts of spirit chi entered Zhao Fu's body, the spirit energy ripples coming from Zhao Fu's body became stronger and stronger. The 7 lights that his body gave off became more and more blinding, and they fused even more deeply. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the 7 lights finally fused together. A massive wave of spirit chi exploded out from Zhao Fu's body and instantly spread out in all directions. The rainbow-colored pillar of light had already dissipated, and Zhao Fu's body slowly rose into the air, giving off a faint rainbow-colored light and powerful spirit energy. The atmosphere in the surroundings seemed to freeze. Chapter 2506. Zhao Fu's cloak had already been shredded into countless pieces, revealing Zhao Fu's true appearance. It was a perfect face that did not seem to belong in the mortal world, a pair of eyes with 7 colors, and a head of hair with 7 colors. His figure was tall and slender, and his muscles were well proportioned. He wore black clothes and gave off a noble, domineering, extraordinary, and celestial aura. Qing Yao and Qing He were completely entranced by Zhao Fu. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so perfect, and their hearts were thumping uncontrollably. Now that Zhao Fu had obtained the yin-yang 5 elements constitution, he had successfully obtained the spirit race's bloodline. This bloodline was called the Yin-Yang Five Elements bloodline, and it could be considered a top-tier bloodline within the spirit race. With this bloodline, Zhao Fu could become a member of the spirit race. This was the foundation for awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star. Without the spirit race bloodline, no matter how powerful one was, they would not be able to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star. In addition to having a bloodline, Zhao Fu had also grasped the powerful Yin-Yang Five-Element spirit force. His physique had been greatly strengthened, and his bloodline had been upgraded slightly. Finally, there was the celestial mode. Because Zhao Fu had obtained the Yin-Yang Five-Element constitution, he felt that he was many times more powerful than before. He had a greater affinity with heaven and earth, and it was easier for him to control heaven and earth's spiritual energy. The battle power that he could display was also more terrifying. By now, Zhao Fu could sense the spirit race's Emperor Star in the boundless void. Now, he only lacked the Holy Spirit Orb and a large amount of the spirit race's fate to awaken the spirit race's Emperor Star. The massive magic formation in the sky had already disappeared, and Zhao Fu's body returned to its original form. It flew down from the sky and landed in front of Qing He and Qing Yao. Qing Yi's beautiful eyes looked at Zhao Fu's face, and she stretched out a hand and stroked Zhao Fu's face as she smiled and said, "I never thought that your face would be so beautiful. No wonder you always wear a cloak. Otherwise, just your face alone would make countless women go crazy for you." Zhao Fu felt as if he had been teased, and he felt quite uncomfortable as he said, "Second Master, it's best that we leave here as soon as possible. With such a massive commotion, there will definitely be many experts rushing over." Qing Yao's face became slightly red as she said, "Qing He, let's leave this place first. We can talk later." Qing He thought for a moment, then nodded with a smile. The three of them quickly left the place. Soon, many experts arrived, and most of them were almighty existences. However, after sensing for a while, they did not find anything, so they quickly left and did not pay too much attention to this matter. Zhao Fu's group of three came to a room in an inn within a city. Zhao Fu had already put on a new cloak. Otherwise, with his perfect face, he would attract countless gazes, both men and women. After arriving at the room, Qing He reached out and took off Zhao Fu's cloak, then said with a smile, "Let Second Master take a good look at your face." Zhao Fu felt quite helpless. Ordinary people definitely wouldn't dare to do this, and even if they did, Zhao Fu would definitely resist. However, Qing He was a higher being, so he couldn't resist at all. Qing Yao's face was red, and she could not bear to watch anymore as she said, "Qing He, enough! Don't be like this." Hearing this, Qing He stopped and smiled as he said, "You can wear your cloak in front of others, but don't wear it in private. I like to see your face like this, understood?" Zhao Fu said helplessly, "Understood." Qing Yi lightly laughed as he said, "Now, let's properly discuss what to do next. Now that you've obtained the Yin-Yang Five Elements Constitution, are you just missing the Holy Spirit Orb and a large amount of fate?" Zhao Fu nodded and replied, "Mm." Qing Yi thought for a moment before saying, "I know a few places that have Holy Spirit Orbs. Let's first deal with the Holy Spirit Orbs, and then deal with the matter of fate." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "All right." Qing Yi turned to look at Qing Yao and smiled as he said, "Big sis, do you have any objections? Or perhaps something else?" Qing Yao looked at Qing He, who was even more proactive than her, and felt quite worried as she said, "I don't have any objections, but you can't fall in love with Zhao Fu. I hope that you can maintain a relationship with him. I don't want you to end up like me." Hearing this, Qing He's smile became faint. She had indeed fallen in love with Zhao Fu, and she understood Qing Yao's worries. She was afraid that Zhao Fu would be killed like the other celestial evils, and she would be affected by Zhao Fu and be lonely like him for so many years. "Do you understand?" Qing Yao looked at Qing He seriously. Zhao Fu stood by the side and did not know what to say. Qing Yi felt quite displeased and stretched out a hand to pinch Zhao Fu as she said, "What do you want to say?" Zhao Fu felt a pain in his waist and moved to the side, feeling quite innocent. However, After thinking about it, he did not mind as he said, I've lost count of the number of women I've had. If you're willing to become my woman, I definitely won't let you down. Hearing Zhao Fu's words, Qing He stretched out a hand and pinched Zhao Fu as he angrily glared at Zhao Fu and said, You've lost count of the number of women you've had? The pain caused Zhao Fu to gasp and retreat to the side. Looking at the angry Qing he felt that if he said anything, he would be beaten up by Qing He. Qing Yao cut Qing He off and said, as the 12th generation celestial evildoer, he definitely has tens of women. Do you understand now that you've been affected by the 6 desires demonic qi? Hearing Qing Yao say that he had tens of women, Zhao Fu felt quite ashamed. Qing He lightly harumphed, I understand. Let's go back to the Spirit River sect. I know who has a heavenly water spirit pearl. Hearing Qing He's words, Qing Yao understood what she meant and said earnestly, He does have a heavenly water spirit pearl, but he won't give it to us so easily. It won't be good if he uses other methods. After all, we're from the same sect. Qing He's expression did not change as she replied, I know. Let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, we'll go somewhere else. Qing Yao gave a trace of a smile and looked at Zhao Fu as she said, Then you can come back to the Spirit River sect with us. Remember to hide your aura well and don't seduce any of our female disciples or elders, or else I'll punish you. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, Master, don't worry, I'm not that kind of person. Qing He glanced at Zhao Fu and said, If he dares to seduce us, I'll cut off his thing so that he won't dare to harm other women in the future. Zhao Fu felt a chill run down his back. If Qing He really wanted to do that to Zhao Fu would not be able to resist at all. Following this, the 3 of them left the city and came to the Spirit River sect. The Spirit River sect was located in the middle of a huge river. The river was very wide, and the water was filled with spiritual energy. It was no ordinary river water. The Spirit River sect looked like a city built on water. It was huge and majestic, and the color was mainly sky blue. Chapter 25:07. After entering the Spirit River sect, Qing He and Qing Yao brought Zhao Fu to a courtyard, where a cold-looking young man sat on a stone bench and was looking at a piece of jade. Sensing that someone had arrived, he looked at Zhao Fu and the others and said coldly, What is it? The 3 of them came before the young man, and Qing He directly said, I want the heavenly water spirit pearl. I can trade for it. The cold-looking young man lowered his head and did not even look at Qing He as he coldly refused. No, the heavenly water spirit pearl is useful to me. Qing He looked somewhat angry. Qing Yao gave a bitter smile. This cold-looking young man had a bad temper and did not have good relationships with anyone. It would be very difficult to obtain the heavenly water spirit pearl from him, which was why Qing Yao had said that. Qing He's expression was cold as he waved his hand and 3 items floated in the air. One was a white iron stone with fish scales on it. One was a spirit herb that gave off celestial light, and one was a long gray horn with spirals on it. This is the 4-fish iron, 1,000 clarity grass, and copper horn. Even though each item cannot compare to the heavenly water spirit pearl, their combined value is definitely more than the heavenly water spirit pearl. I'll trade these 3 items with you. The cold-looking young man looked down at the jade and coldly replied, Not trading. Qing He said angrily, Then what do you want in exchange? The cold-looking young man looked at Qing He and said coldly, I already said that I won't trade. If you have nothing else, please leave. Qing He felt quite angry and wanted to say something. Qing Yao stopped her and gave a trace of a smile as she said, Right now, we really need the heavenly water spirit pearl. We'll try our best to find something to trade with you. We sisters will owe you a favor. The cold-looking young man still said, The heavenly water spirit pearl is also useful to me, so I won't use it to get on your good side. If you want the heavenly water spirit pearl, go somewhere else. Qing He said angrily, If you weren't from the Spirit River sect, I would have already attacked you. With your abilities, do you think you can keep the heavenly water spirit pearl? The cold-looking young man frowned. Qing Yao smiled awkwardly and advised, Qing He, please don't say that. We're from the same sect after all. Since he's not willing to trade, let's go somewhere else. Ching, he coldly harumphed. Now that the other party wasn't willing to trade, she had no other choice. After all, she couldn't just take it by force, so she was about to leave. Zhao Fu suddenly opened his mouth and said, I have an item here. I wonder if it can be exchanged for the heavenly water spirit bead? Seeing Qinghe and Qingyao obtain the heavenly water spirit pearl for him, Zhao Fu felt quite apologetic. He wanted to resolve this matter himself, so he took out a peach. It was about the size of a fist and had a bright red surface. Celestial light swirled around it, and it gave off a faint peach fragrance. With just a glance, one could tell that it was not an ordinary item. When the peach fragrance entered one's nose, one's body felt much more comfortable and no longer tired. The peach that Zhao Fu took out was an immortal peach. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary immortal peach. It was a 9,000-year-old purple rune immortal peach that was plucked from the half-immortal world's immortal peach tree. The moment the immortal peach was taken out, Qingyao and the other two's gazes were attracted over. Qingyao and Qinghe were slightly astonished. They could sense that this immortal peach contained a massive amount of immortal energy and had unimaginable miraculous effects. Even a half-immortal would need it. It was definitely an extremely rare treasure. They were very tempted. Eating this immortal peach would bring them one step closer to the half-immortal realm. They never thought that Zhao Fu would have such a precious item on him. When the gloomy-looking youth saw this immortal peach, he did not hesitate and said, I can exchange for it with the heavenly water spirit pearl. Qinghe said unhappily, this immortal peach is clearly a fruit from a 10,000-year-old immortal peach tree. It contains a massive amount of immortal energy, and its value is far higher than the heavenly water spirit pearl. You want to obtain it so easily? The gloomy-looking youth frowned. I can add a bottle of water god's spiritual pills to exchange for this immortal peach. Qingyao revealed a smile and asked Zhao Fu, the water god spiritual pill is a very precious pill that can help a water-type cultivator break through to the higher being realm. Do you think it's worth the exchange? Zhao Fu did not have any objections. He just wanted to obtain the heavenly water spirit pearl. So he said, I can exchange. Qingyao smiled as she took the immortal peach and turned to look at the gloomy-looking youth. The gloomy-looking youth took out a jade bottle and a pearl that was the size of an egg. The pearl was condensed from water, and there was flowing water within it. It gave off a faint light, as if it had a life of its own, and moved in the air. This was the heavenly water spirit pearl. Qingyao handed the immortal peach to the gloomy-looking youth, and the youth stretched out his hand as the two items flew in front of Qingyao. The cold-looking young man stretched out a hand and grabbed the celestial peach. After looking at it, he smiled and looked at Zhao Fu as he said, Who are you? How can you take out such a precious treasure? Qinghe said bluntly, It's none of your business. The gloomy-looking youth did not mind Qinghe's words and continued, If you have more immortal peaches, I can use other things to exchange for them. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, This is a 10,000-year immortal peach, and I obtained it by chance. I only have one, so I've been reluctant to use it. The gloomy-looking youth sensed that Zhao Fu's aura was quite ordinary and felt that it was unlikely that Zhao Fu had a second immortal peach, so he did not say anything else. Qingyao handed the heavenly water spirit pearl and the jade bottle to Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, Let's go. Zhao Fu smiled as he accepted the two items. Now that he had obtained the heavenly water spirit pearl, he was one step closer to awakening the spirit race's Emperor Star. Following this, Zhao Fu and the others left the courtyard and went outside. Qinghe stretched out a hand and pinched Zhao Fu as he looked at Zhao Fu and said, Don't tell me you're the holy son of a holy spirit faction? How could you have such a precious immortal peach? And you're not willing to tell me your identity. Zhao Fu retreated to the side in pain and said, Do you think I'm like this because I'm a holy son? Also, can you not attack me? Qinghe glared at Zhao Fu and said, What? Do you have a problem with me pinching you? Do you want to be taught a lesson? Zhao Fu looked quite helpless as he sighed. He could not defeat this woman at all, or else Zhao Fu would have taken care of her. Qing Yao smiled as she said, "All right, get along well. Also, Qinghe, you really can't pinch Zhao Fu anymore." Qinghe nodded and said, "Oh." Qing Yao smiled as she said, "It's quite late now, so let's rest in the Spirit River Sect for the night. Tomorrow, we'll continue to search for other heavenly spirit pearls." Following this, the three of them came to an elegant-looking courtyard. Qing Yao said, "This is where I'll be staying. Zhao Fu, you can sleep in the next room." Zhao Fu nodded and took out 2 immortal peaches as he said, "These immortal peaches are for you to thank you for helping me. I'm sure these immortal peaches have been of great help to you, right?" Chapter 25:08. Zhao Fu was very grateful towards Qing, He, and Qing Yao. They had gone to trade for items for him, and had even gone to beg others. In the future, they would definitely help him a lot. Top point, although immortal peaches were rare and precious, Zhao Fu felt that it was worth it to give them too. Qing He and Qing Yao were astonished. They didn't expect that Zhao Fu really had more immortal peaches. Qing Yao smiled and said, "How many more of such precious immortal peaches do you have?" Zhao Fu replied with a smile, "About 30. Both Qing Yao and Qin Wentian revealed shocked expressions. This kind of immortal peach could be said to be very precious. Even half immortals would have it. However, they did not expect that Zhao Fu would have over 30 of them. Qing He chuckled as he picked up the 2 immortal peaches that Zhao Fu handed over and handed one to Qing Yao. "Big sister, there's no need to be courteous with him. I knew this guy's identity was far more mysterious than we thought." Qing Yao didn't want it at first, but after hearing that Zhao Fu had so many more, she accepted it and said to Zhao Fu in a gentle voice, "Thank you." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "No need." Soon after, the sky turned completely dark. Countless stars decorated the night sky, forming a magnificent star chart. The surroundings became quiet. Zhao Fu and the other 2 returned to their respective rooms. Late at night, Zhao Fu, who was lying in bed, suddenly felt his body sink. He opened his eyes and saw that Qing, he was sitting on top of him with his hands on either side of his head. His black hair flowed down, and an extremely beautiful face was looking at him with a slight blush. "What's the matter?" Zhao Fu looked at Qing He in surprise. He didn't expect her to be like this. "Qing," he said with a red face, "stop pretending. I want to experience that feeling. Hurry up and give it to me." Zhao Fu thought about how he had just been bullied by Qing He and decided to tease her. He chuckled and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Qing He looked quite angry and understood that Zhao Fu was doing this on purpose. He lowered his head and kissed Zhao Fu's lips. Then, indescribable noises rang out in the room. On one side, Qing He was doing that with Zhao Fu. On the other side, Qing Yao was lying on the bed. Her body twisted and her face was red. She called out Zhao Fu's name and did indescribable things. She had endured for a whole day today, and now she really couldn't hold it in anymore. She said that she wanted to rest for a night to solve this problem. A few hours later, Qing He collapsed in Zhao Fu's arms. His face flushed red as he gasped for breath. Zhao Fu chuckled and asked, "How do you feel?" Qing He had a satisfied smile on his face as he said, "I've never experienced this kind of blissful feeling before. No wonder my sister sank into it. Even though the 9th immortal evil died so long ago, she was unable to break free. Now, I feel like I've been conquered by you." Zhao Fu smiled and asked, "Do you still dare to pinch me now?" Qing He rolled his eyes at Zhao Fu. "How would I dare now? You're my man now. Don't bully me in the future." Zhao Fu smiled and kissed Qing He on the cheek. Qing He sweetly hugged Zhao Fu and thought of something. She looked at Zhao Fu and said seriously, "Promise me that you won't die. I don't want to be like my big sister and live alone." Zhao Fu smiled as he replied, I'll be responsible for you." Qing He still did not feel confident and said worriedly, "Every generation of immortal evils like you will die, even if you have half-step celestial cultivation. I'm still worried that something will happen to you." Zhao Fu smiled and comforted her. "Don't worry, I'm not like those people." In actuality, Zhao Fu was not like those people. Zhao Fu was not a celestial evil, and had been dragged into this for some reason. This was because Qin Yi's power was too terrifying, so Zhao Fu did not plan on telling her his true identity. Hearing Zhao Fu's words, Qin Yi trusted Zhao Fu and lightly nodded before saying, "It's best not to let my big sister know about what happened between us. She'll definitely object to us being together, so you can't tell anyone about this. Tomorrow will be the same as before." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Where are we going to obtain the heavenly spirit pearl tomorrow?" Qin Yi thought for a moment before replying, "Tomorrow, we'll go to a forbidden area. There's a wood spirit there, and I heard that it has a heavenly wood spirit pearl." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "All right." Following this, because it was going to be daybreak soon, Qin Yi rested for a while before putting on his clothes and leaving Zhao Fu's room. After the sun rose, Zhao Fu put on his clothes and came out feeling refreshed. Qin He and Qin Yao were already waiting for Zhao Fu in the living room. Their faces were slightly red, and they looked quite unnatural. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Masters, let's go together." Qin He pouted as she looked at Zhao Fu. Last night, when she had done it with Zhao Fu had been calling her his second master. Even though she had told Zhao Fu to call her that, she felt quite embarrassed. Qin Yao's face also became red as she thought about what had happened last night. Another day later, Zhao Fu and the others came to a forest. The trees here were abnormally tall, and they were all 1,000 meters tall and dozens of meters wide. The treetops were like massive clouds and gave off an aura of life. This place was called a forbidden area because there were many wood spirits here. These wood spirits could devour other creatures' flesh and blood to grow, and they were incredibly terrifying. As such, this forbidden area was completely silent. Let alone the cries of birds, there's not even the sound of insects, making people feel quite afraid. Anyone with Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation would have to be careful here, or else their lives would be in danger. However, Qin He and Qin Yao were both higher being experts and were some of the most terrifying people in the world. The terrifying wood spirits within the forest naturally could not threaten them at all. If it was Zhao Fu who entered, the trees would seem to come to life and madly attack Zhao Fu. Qin Yao smiled as she said, "This forest forbidden area is quite big, and there might be terrifying things hidden within. We need to be careful." Qin Yi lightly nodded and smiled as he said, "Got it." The three of them flew towards the depths of the forest. After reaching the depths, there were many terrifying auras here, and some of the auras they gave off were not any weaker than higher beings. By now, the powerful wood spirits had sensed Qin Yao and the others. A massive vine gave off countless green motes of light, which then condensed into an old man with an ancient face and a cane in his hand. His hair was made of vines. If two or more higher beings fought here, they would be able to destroy this place. The wood spirits had been here for countless years and did not want this place to be destroyed. As such, one of the most powerful wood spirits gathered here, and it was that elder who asked, "Why have you three come here?" Qin Yao said courteously, "Elder, we want to obtain the heavenly wood spirit pearl. We want to obtain the heavenly wood spirit orb. How can we obtain it?" Chapter 2509. The elder frowned. "The heavenly wood spirit pearl is an important treasure here. We won't give it to you." Qin Yao lightly laughed as she said, "We won't take it for free. We can trade for it." The elder said apologetically, "That won't do. Please understand. It's best if you go elsewhere to obtain the heavenly wood spirit pearl." Qin He frowned and said coldly, "We must obtain the heavenly wood spirit pearl. If you're not willing, we can only use force to take it." The old man felt a bit of a headache. Only his power had reached the almighty realm. The other wood spirits were at most at the peak of Tao realm. If they fought, not only would they cause great damage here, but they might also lose. The heavenly wood spirit pearl contained powerful spirit energy and could increase the spirit energy and spirituality of the forbidden forest, allowing more wood spirits to be born. Qin Yao and Qin He's expressions were quite serious. If it was not necessary, they did not want to fight either. After all, there were countless wood spirits here, and if they fought, they would be in great danger. As the two sides were in a stalemate, Zhao Fu stood up and said, "Neither side wants to fight intensely. I have a way to resolve this." Qing Yao, Qing He, and the elder all looked at Zhao Fu. The elder asked, "What is it?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "If anyone of the same cultivation here can defeat me, we'll immediately leave and will not fight over the heavenly wood spirit pearl. If none of you can defeat me, please hand over the heavenly wood spirit pearl." The elder thought about it and sensed Zhao Fu's power. He did not feel that it was very terrifying and felt that this would work. It would prevent higher beings from fighting here. So he smiled and said, "All right." Following this, the elder returned to the forest and discussed this matter with the others. Qing Yao looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and said, "Zhao Fu, are you confident?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Qing He also smiled and said, "Big sis, don't worry. This fellow's power is quite terrifying." Because Qing He had talked with Zhao Fu the previous night, he understood that Zhao Fu was very powerful, and his power might be even more terrifying than theirs. A while later, the elder brought over a tall young man who gave off a peak Emperor Heaven Realm aura. Zhao Fu had said that as long as he could defeat him at the same cultivation, it would be fine. Zhao Fu's cultivation was only at the Emperor Heaven Realm, while the tall young man was at the peak of the Emperor Heaven Realm. In terms of cultivation, the tall young man had the advantage. The old man said with a smile, "He can be your opponent and duel with you. Is that okay?" "No," Zhao Fu said as he smiled and said, "He could be your opponent for a duel, right?" Seeing how confident Zhao Fu was, the elderly man felt quite confused. Had he sensed wrongly? This person's power. However, the young man he had brought was the most powerful person in the Emperor Heaven Realm and was at the peak of the Emperor Heaven Realm. It was very likely that he would win, so the elderly man believed that the young man would win. Chen Zhao, Chun, with spirit in the young man. Chun, the young man had a serious expression and did not become careless even though he had a great advantage. He said, "I won't let you obtain the heavenly wood spirit orb." Boom! An explosion sounded out as the young man exploded out with a terrifying power. A massive green aura flame ignited around his body, causing the surrounding air to become heavy. Boom! The young man gave off massive power as he charged at Zhao Fu like a ferocious beast, bringing with him a massive gale. Zhao Fu stood where he was without moving, and a massive wave of power surged out from Zhao Fu's body as a terrifying black aura flame appeared around him. The young man rushed in front of Zhao Fu and punched out with all his might. It was as though he could shatter the void. Zhao Fu's lips curled into a smile. He clenched his right fist and punched out with terrifying power. Bang! The two fists brought with them terrifying power as they collided together. A terrifying energy rippled out, forming a massive gale that blew out. Countless trees vigorously swayed, looking incredibly terrifying. Zhao Fu did not move at all, but the young man took a few steps back. The elder felt quite startled. He had sensed wrongly. This person was more terrifying than he had expected. Even a peak Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation did not have an advantage, and ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm cultivators would be defeated in a few exchanges. This person was incredibly powerful. It was the first time Qing Yao had seen Zhao Fu fight, and she also looked quite shocked. She understood how powerful Zhao Fu was, and it seemed that her little sister had been right. The young man's expression became quite unsightly, and he roared in dissatisfaction as he exploded out with even more terrifying power. The green aura became many times brighter and condensed into a green wolf that bit at Zhao Fu with terrifying power. Zhao Fu gave a faint smile, and countless traces of black aura flames gathered in his hand, forming a black dragon head that gave off a shocking aura as he vigorously punched out. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the green wolf and black dragon head collided, and an even more terrifying power spread out. An even more intense gale was formed, and countless trees started to sway. Zhao Fu did not move, while the young man flew back 10 or so meters, and a trace of blood leaked out of his lips. It was evident that the young man was not a match for Zhao Fu, and the young man's expression became quite unsightly. He understood this, and even if he did not want to accept this, there was nothing he could do. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Do you want to continue? I'm going to use my full power. Don't blame me for being injured." The young man's expression fell as he felt quite dispirited. This person had not even used his full power yet. Wasn't he a bit too terrifying? He was the #1 expert in the forbidden area, so how could he seem so weak in front of this person? If he admitted defeat so easily, he would lose face. He exploded out with all of his power and gave off a ferocious aura as he rushed at Zhao Fu. Bang! In the next second, the young man's body was kicked out by Zhao Fu, and he crashed to the ground like a meteor, opening up a massive crater. Countless rocks flew everywhere, and plants were destroyed. The big man lay within the crater and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. His aura became quite weak, and it seemed that he was quite heavily injured. There was no need to say anything. The big man had already lost. Zhao Fu turned to look at the elder. The elder's expression was quite unsightly. He had thought that his side would most likely win, but he had never thought that they would lose so easily. He still felt quite unwilling to hand over the wood heavenly spirit orb. Zhao Fu could tell what the elder was thinking, and in order to convince him, he said, "You can send out 10 Emperor Heaven Realm experts to attack together. If they win, we'll immediately leave. If you lose, you must hand over the wood heavenly spirit orb, or else we'll have to take it." The elder helplessly nodded. If even 10 Emperor Heaven Realm experts were not a match for him, he would not have any complaints and could only hand over the wood heavenly spirit orb. Chapter 25:10. Following this, the 10 Emperor Heaven Realm wood spirits stood in the air and surrounded Zhao Fu. There were both men and women, and all of them had powerful auras. Even though the 10 of them could not compare to that young man, they were still the 10 most outstanding people in the younger generation. They all looked quite serious. They had seen how easily Zhao Fu had defeated that young man and understood that Zhao Fu was incredibly powerful. They did not dare to be careless. If they lost, they had to hand over the wood heavenly spirit pearl. However, they were not completely unprepared. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions sounded out as their bodies exploded out with immense power. A green aura flame appeared around their bodies, and a massive power spread out like a wild gale. Countless plants vigorously swayed, and some gravel was blown away. The terrifying power caused the heavens and earth to become icy cold, and the countless wood spirits in the surroundings felt quite terrified. Suddenly, the 10 wood spirits started to form seals with their hands, and a powerful green light shone from their hands. Branches formed from the green light grew from their backs, giving off a powerful aura. After forming hand seals, they pushed out with their hands, and a massive wave of power flowed out. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a green ring appeared and gave off terrifying power as it quickly shrank. Zhao Fu stood at the center of it. They did not plan to face Zhao Fu head-on and chose to use other methods to trap Zhao Fu. If they could trap Zhao Fu, they would win. The ability that the 10 of them had unleashed was called Azure Wood Prison, and it was one of the most powerful magic techniques in the Forbidden Area. The imprisonment was incredibly terrifying, and ordinary people would not be able to break free. This was how they dealt with Zhao Fu. Boom! The green ring gave off shocking power as it quickly shrank. Zhao Fu exploded out with a massive wave of power to stop the shrinking green ring. The ring continuously gave off powerful power and continuously shrank, but Zhao Fu's powerful power stopped it, and the two sides faced off in the air. Boom! The 10 people's expressions were serious as they pushed out with their hands, causing even more power to flow out. The green ring became much larger and gave off even more terrifying power as it rushed toward Zhao Fu. Slowly, the power that Zhao Fu emitted could no longer withstand it, and the green ring continued to shrink. Boom! The 10 people were still not satisfied with this speed, and the branches behind them gave off boundless light. An even more powerful spirit force flowed out, forming two rings that shrank toward Zhao Fu. One was at Zhao Fu's head, and the other was at Zhao Fu's feet. The two rings were also blocked by the power that Zhao Fu exuded. However, it was clear that the rings were rapidly shrinking. Zhao Fu would not be able to hold on for long. The 10 of them heaved a sigh of relief and were even a little happy. They would soon be able to imprison Zhao Fu in place. A trace of a smile appeared on the elder's face. He felt that Zhao Fu had been quite arrogant and thought that the people here were easy to bully. Now, it was too late for him to regret it. Qing Yao frowned. Looking at the current situation, it seemed that her side would most likely lose. Qing Yi looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and did not say anything. Looking at the 3 rings that were continuously shrinking, Zhao Fu did not look worried at all. Instead, he gave a trace of a smile and lightly cried out, "Celestial mode. Activate!" Boom! A power that reigned over all creatures in the world flowed out from Zhao Fu's body. This terrifying power directly shattered the 3 green rings, which turned into countless motes of light and dissipated. The 10 people around Zhao Fu were also sent flying back. A rainbow-colored aura flame burst forth from Zhao Fu's body, and Zhao Fu's eyes and hair became rainbow-colored. A Tai Chi 5 elements diagram appeared on his forehead, and a black and white spirit flame appeared. A terrifying might covered the surroundings, causing all living beings to feel great pressure. The current celestial mode was not the same as before. Because Zhao Fu had obtained the yin-yang 5 elements constitution, his celestial mode had become a higher-grade celestial mode, and he had even more powerful celestial energy. Zhao Fu looked at the 10 people who had been sent flying and stretched out a hand. A massive wave of power flowed out, preparing to attack those 10 people. The elder sighed and cut off Zhao Fu. "Enough. I'm willing to give the heavenly wood spirit orb to you." When Zhao Fu exploded out with this terrifying power, the elder felt quite startled and felt that they were going to lose again. As a higher being, he understood how terrifying this power was, and, as expected, they lost. There was no need to continue fighting. The elder understood that Zhao Fu's background was not ordinary, or else he would not have such power. It was most likely that he was a peerless genius of a race. Giving the wood heavenly spirit orb to him was a favor and could improve their relationship. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile and withdrew his power. The 10 Emperor Heaven Realm experts looked quite afraid. Even though they were all Emperor Heaven Realm experts, the difference was so great. The elder took out a green orb of light. This orb of light was only as big as an egg, and there was a small tree within it. It gave off a powerful aura of life. This was the wood heavenly spirit orb. The elder tossed out the wood heavenly spirit orb, and it flew in front of Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at the wood heavenly spirit orb and found that he had obtained 2 wood heavenly spirit orbs. He smiled and said, "Many thanks." The elder also gave a trace of a smile. Even though the wood heavenly spirit orb is important to the forbidden area, it's best that it's in the hands of an extraordinary person like you. Zhao Fu humbly smiled and said, "Senior, you praise me too much. I'll remember this favor and will definitely repay Senior in the future." The elder gave a trace of a smile. This was exactly what he wanted. He smiled and asked, "Sir, you seem to be quite powerful. May I ask which faction you come from?" Of course, Zhao Fu could not say this, so he lightly laughed and said, "I just come from a remote place and am not from any large faction." Who would believe such a thing? How could someone from a remote place have such terrifying power? How could someone from a remote place have the protection of 2 higher beings? However, since Zhao Fu was unwilling to say, the elder did not force him. After all, this kind of person's potential and identity were quite terrifying, and it would not be a bad thing to befriend him. The elder smiled as he said, "Sir, what else do you need? If you don't have anything else, how about we go to the depths of the forbidden area to have a seat?" Zhao Fu thought about how he still had to find other wood heavenly spirit orbs, so he smiled and refused, saying, "I'm very sorry, but we have other things to do and will come again in the future." The elder did not insist, and smiled as he nodded. Following this, Zhao Fu and the others left the forbidden area and flew in the sky. Zhao Fu smiled and asked, "Second Master, where are we going next?" Chapter 25:11. Qing He said, "Next, we'll go find the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl. However, the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl is a very important item for a faction, so we can only obtain it by stealing. Otherwise, we won't be able to obtain it." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded, and the three of them quickly came to a region. This place was quite special. The ground was made of metal, and even the flowers, grass, and trees were made of metal. It was as if they had come to a world of metal. The three of them continued onwards and came near a massive city made of metal. The walls and houses here were all made of metal, and they gave off a massive and firm aura as if nothing could destroy them. Qing He reminded him, "That Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl is in this city. The city lord is also an almighty expert and has a good relationship with a few big powers. Ordinary almighty experts do not dare to offend him. Moreover, he greatly hates celestial evils, and if you appear in front of him, he'll definitely kill you without any hesitation." Zhao Fu understood and said, "How are we going to steal the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl?" Qing He said, "My big sister and I will draw out that expert. With that expert present, we won't be able to steal the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl. After we draw out that expert, I'll leave the rest to you." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Be careful." Hearing Zhao Fu's words of concern, Qing He happily smiled. "You still know how to care about us. No wonder we sisters have done so much for you." Seeing how close her little sister and Zhao Fu were, Qing Yao felt quite worried. A while later, Qing He and Qing Yao changed into new clothes and covered their faces with veils. They were helping Zhao Fu for their own personal matters, and they did not want their identities to be revealed and cause trouble for the Spirit River sect. Boom! Boom! Two explosions sounded out as Qing He and Qing Yao gave off powerful auras as they flew towards the massive city. The auras that they gave off belonged to higher beings, and they caused the heavens and earth to dim and clouds to swirl. A massive pressure weighed down on everyone's bodies, causing them to feel terror. A middle-aged man wearing iron armor and a stiff expression quickly flew out from the city walls, giving off a terrifying aura. The middle-aged man was called Jin San, and he was the city lord of this metal city. His cultivation had reached the almighty realm, and he was much stronger than ordinary almighty beings. This was why Qing He and Qing Yao were so careful. Jin San's expression was cold as he looked at the two people who had come with ill intentions. He said, "What business do you two have with me?" Qing He said coldly, "We are naturally here to seek revenge. Back then, you killed our loved ones. Now, we want you and your city's people to be buried with us." Actually, Qing He and Jin San did not have any enmity. Qing He was only pretending to seek revenge to conceal his true identity. As such a powerful person, it was impossible for him to not have enemies, so Jin San did not suspect anything. Instead, his expression became serious because the two people who had come were higher beings, and they would not be easy to deal with. Boom! A loud explosion sounded out. Qing He raised his hand, and a terrifying power burst out from his body. Countless water vapors condensed into spears. It was impossible to count how many there were, and they filled the entire sky. Not only was Jin San within the attack range, but the city was also within the attack range. Swish, swish, swish. Qing He raised the spears and swung them down vigorously. Spears condensed from water gave off shocking power, as they quickly shot towards Jin Sanha and Chung. Jin San's expression slightly fell, and he drew a silver-white saber. A massive saber image gave off a power that seemed to be able to cut through everything as it slashed forwards, and nothing could stop it. Bang! 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 The countless water spears were destroyed by the massive saber image, and they turned into countless splashes of water, making it seem as if there was a heavy rain. Boom! At that moment, Qing Yao also acted. A massive water dragon was condensed, and it gave off ferocious power as it rushed towards Jin San incredibly quickly. Jin San blocked with his saber and sent a shocking wave of power into it, causing the saber to give off boundless saber light. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the massive water dragon slammed into Jin San's saber, turning into countless splashes of water, and Jin San was forced back a few steps. Qing Yao was slightly more powerful than Qing He. Jin San's expression was cold as he gave off a powerful aura and rushed towards Qing Yao and Qing He. Bang! Bang! Massive sounds continuously sounded out as the three of them started an intense battle in the air. Winds and clouds surged, and terrifying shockwaves continuously spread out. The people in the city watched on in shock. The battle between three higher beings was simply too terrifying. Jin San led Qing He and Qing Yao elsewhere. This was his territory, and there were countless people below. If an intense battle erupted here, the city might be destroyed, and who knew how many people would die. There were many things he had to worry about. He did not know that by leading Qing He and Qing Yao elsewhere, he had fallen into Qing He's trap. The countless people in the city were also attracted by the battle. Even though they trusted their city lords, they were still higher beings. As such, they sent people to watch from afar, and they asked for experts from other factions to come and help. Zhao Fu understood that he could not waste time, so he hid his aura and quickly entered the city. Before, Qing He had told Zhao Fu that the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl was the core item of this metal city. The many formations in the city all revolved around the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl. If the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl was lost, it would greatly affect the city. In actuality, if he could use the Celestial Peaches to exchange for it, Zhao Fu would be quite happy to do so. There was no need to go through so much trouble and take such a huge risk. Zhao Fu still had 30 or so Celestial Peaches, so using one was not a problem. However, this Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl was very important to the city, and Jin San might not exchange for it. Moreover, Jin San was much stronger than Qing He and Qing Yao, and it was in his territory. Taking out such a precious item would be a very dangerous thing. Moreover, Qing He had reminded Zhao Fu to keep the matter of the Celestial Peaches a secret and not leak it out. Otherwise, half celestial existences might fight over it. As for the cold-looking youth who had first exchanged for the Celestial Peaches, even though he did not have a good relationship with Qing He and Qing Yao, he was still a member of the sect, so he would not leak this information out. The Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl was in the City Lord residence, so Zhao Fu directly sneaked in that direction. Because of the battle, there was some chaos in the city, and many people's gazes were drawn over, so it was beneficial for Zhao Fu to sneak in. However, Zhao Fu did not dare to be careless. Even though there were no higher being experts in the city, there should be spirit realm experts and Tao realm experts. If he was discovered by these experts, Zhao Fu would definitely die, and he would not be able to resist at all. Chapter 25:12. Since Qing He had asked Zhao Fu to do such a dangerous thing, he naturally gave Zhao Fu something to hide from those spirit realm experts and Tao realm experts. That item was a rainbow-colored talisman called the Invisibility Talisman. It contained immense power, and by sticking it on one's body, it would affect one's body. Those below higher being level would find it very difficult to discover Zhao Fu's whereabouts. However, there's only one talisman, and it could only be used for a few hours. If it lost its effect, Zhao Fu would be in great danger. Zhao Fu quickly came to the city hall. There were many terrifying people standing guard here, and with Zhao Fu's true cultivation, he would not be able to charge in. With the invisibility talisman, not only could countless people not see Zhao Fu, but they could not sense any information about Zhao Fu either. Zhao Fu walked into the city hall openly, and no one else did anything. Zhao Fu came near a stage that was 4 meters tall and 1,000 meters wide. There were magic formations carved on it. At the center was a metallic orb that gave off boundless golden light. It twisted in the air and seemed to have its own life. There were 4 people standing at the 4 corners of the stage. They were all experts at the peak of the Tao realm, and the auras they gave off were quite terrifying. Even though Zhao Fu had the invisibility talisman, he did not dare to directly snatch it. After thinking about it, Zhao Fu decided to leave this place for now. After coming outside, Zhao Fu planned to create some chaos and draw the four people's gazes over. Zhao Fu did not want to directly act in the city hall, as the four-peak Tao realm experts might be able to sense Zhao Fu. As such, Zhao Fu came outside the city hall. He half squatted on the ground and pressed a hand against the ground. Zhao Fu's eyes once again turned into the evil demon flower eyes, and a massive wave of evil demonic power flowed out from Zhao Fu's hand and spread out in all directions. Traces of black aura flowed into the bodies of the people nearby, causing their bodies to freeze on the spot. Their eyes flashed with a black and blood-red light. These commoners' cultivations were around the third or fourth stage, and Zhao Fu easily controlled them. Then, it started to attack the people around it. The surroundings fell into chaos, and screams, cries, and high-posed screams could be heard. The shockwaves caused by this place quickly covered the entire city, causing everyone in the city to fall into chaos. The city's higher-ups took this matter quite seriously, believing that it was done by the two higher beings who had attacked the city. After all, they had said that they wanted everyone in the city to die with them, and after they left, this had happened. The higher-ups of the city discussed a solution. They did not know why those people suddenly went crazy. He could only ask the people to hide in their rooms and not go out. Zhao Fu snuck into the city lord manor and realized that the four-peak Tao realm experts were still there. The city was in chaos, and they didn't seem like they wanted to care or leave. It seemed that Jin San had given them a strict order to not leave this place no matter what happened. There wasn't much time left, and Zhao Fu thought for a moment before controlling some soldiers to charge. Kill! Dozens of soldiers with black and blood-red eyes roared out and gave off powerful auras as they charged over. Standing in four directions were armored generals. There were 3 men and 1 woman, and looking at these madly charging soldiers, they frowned. The one in the lead was a white-skinned young man. His gaze was cold, and he didn't show any mercy at all. A powerful power surged out from his body and slammed into the madly charging soldiers' bodies. Those soldiers were blasted into countless bloody mists, and they didn't even have time to cry out. Zhao Fu's expression did not change, and he continued to control the dozens of soldiers to charge at the 4 experts. The 4 generals were all quite strong, and without even moving, they killed those madly charging soldiers. Zhao Fu continued to control the soldiers to charge at them while he carefully made his way to the platform. Bang! Bang, bang, bang! Loud explosions sounded out as more and more soldiers charged forwards, but they were blasted into bloody mists by powerful waves of power. Zhao Fu carefully came to the platform. A portion of the 4 generals' attention was drawn away by the soldiers, and adding on the invisibility talisman strength, the 4 generals didn't notice Zhao Fu. Apart from the 4-peak Tao realm experts' gains, there were also many powerful restrictions, and if one tried to force their way in, they might be killed. Zhao Fu had a way to deal with this. He took out a talisman and stuck it on his body. This talisman was a fusion talisman. It could allow one's body to merge into the restrictions without being noticed. This was something that he had given to Zhao Fu. Since she had told Zhao Fu to join the Golden Sky spirit race, she was naturally prepared not to let Zhao Fu get injured. Zhao Fu walked into the restrictions, and for safety's sake, he waited for a short while before continuing to walk towards the center of the platform. In the end, Zhao Fu came in front of the floating Golden Sky Spirit Pearl. The Golden Sky Spirit Pearl seemed to sense Zhao Fu's existence and slightly trembled a few times, attracting the attention of a general. He looked around but didn't see any direction, and he had a strange expression on his face. Zhao Fu was given a big fright and hurriedly hid his aura. The Golden Sky Spirit Pearl stopped trembling, and only then did the general not discover Zhao Fu. Looking at this Golden Sky Spirit Pearl, Zhao Fu felt that he couldn't do things slowly. This Golden Sky Spirit Pearl might discover him and give off a massive ripple. When that time came, Even if Zhao Fu stuck a talisman on it, he would be discovered. Kill, kill, kill. Zhao Fu controlled a large number of soldiers and gave off a ferocious aura as they charged towards the platform. Looking at the large number of soldiers, the four generals frowned. It seemed that the situation was more serious than they had expected. So many soldiers had gone crazy. The fair-skinned young man in the lead waved his hand, and a massive energy rippled out, causing countless soldiers to explode into a bloody mist. He said, "You three continue to guard here. I'll see what's going on." Just as the three generals were about to nod and speak, Zhao Fu stepped forwards and grabbed the Golden Sky Spirit Pearl with one hand and put it into his spatial ring before quickly flying to the side. The four generals sensed that the Golden Sky Spirit Pearl had disappeared and were greatly shocked. Before they could react, massive explosions sounded out, causing the ground to crack and rocks to fly everywhere. Zhao Fu directly threw down a few destruction crystals. After the shock waves dissipated, the four generals were not injured, but their expressions were quite unsightly because the Golden Sky Spirit Pearl had disappeared. Everything had happened in an instant, and they still didn't understand what had happened. They carefully sensed their surroundings and could not find any ripples from the Golden Sky Spirit Pearl. Someone had stolen it right in front of them. The four generals felt immense rage in their hearts as they charged in four different directions, wanting to find that damnable and arrogant thief. The Golden Sky Spirit Pearl disappeared at any moment, and the magic formation was destroyed, causing the powerful aura to quickly weaken. Chapter 25:13. Zhao Fu quickly left Metal City and flew very far away. No matter how much Metal City's people searched, they could not find any traces of Zhao Fu. Jin San, who was fighting in the distance, sensed the changes in the Metal City and felt quite startled. He understood that he had fallen for a trap, and he immediately exploded out with immense power, sending Qing He and Qing Yao flying as he flew towards the Metal City. Qing He and Qing Yao understood that Zhao Fu had succeeded, so in order to prevent Zhao Fu from being discovered, the two of them gave off immense power as they continued to attack Jin San. Jin San's face was filled with fury as he fearlessly unleashed terrifying attacks. Qing He and Qing Yao used all of their strength to attack. Bang! Bang! Massive explosions continuously sounded out as terrifying shockwaves spread out. The ground instantly collapsed, and countless rocks flew everywhere, as if a disaster had occurred. In the end, Jin San returned to the city with a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Qing He and Qing Yao were also injured. Qing He's injuries were not as severe because Qing Yao was quite strong. She had been the one to fight Jin San, so her injuries were more severe. Blood flowed out of her mouth, her face was pale, and her aura was quite weak. The two of them returned to the meeting place. Seeing the two of them return injured, Zhao Fu felt quite startled and hurriedly went up and asked in concern, "Are you two all right?" Qing He said, "I'm only lightly injured, but my big sister's injuries are quite severe and need to be treated immediately. You should have obtained the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl, right?" Zhao Fu nodded. Qing He gave a trace of a smile. "Let's quickly leave this place and find a safe place to treat our injuries." Zhao Fu replied, "All right." Following this, the three of them left this place and found a secluded ravine. Zhao Fu stood guard by the side, while Qing He and Qing Yao sat cross-legged on the ground and treated their injuries. On the other side, Jin San returned to the city and looked at the chaotic city. A look of fury appeared on his face as he exploded out with a terrifying might, locking down the entire city. The chaotic city immediately became deathly silent. Jin San returned to the city hall and looked at the four nervous Peak Dao Realm generals and asked, "What's going on? Aren't you guys guarding the Golden Heaven Spirit Pearl?" The four generals told Jin San what had just happened in detail. Hearing that someone had silently stolen the Golden Heaven Spirit bead, Jin San could more or less guess what had happened. Those two supreme experts had lured him away so that others could come and steal the Golden Heaven Spirit bead. Their main goal was the Golden Heaven Spirit bead, and not to seek revenge. Who were these people? How dare they set their sights on him? Jinsen thought for a while, but he could not guess who it was because that person did not reveal any information. He then heard the soldiers and commoners madly attacking others, and he asked with a serious expression, "What's going on? Have you found the reason?" The fair-skinned young man respectfully replied, "My lord, we discovered that some sort of power invaded their bodies, causing them to go berserk and attack others. This power should be from the person who stole the golden heaven spirit bead. Now that that person has left, the soldiers and civilians who had gone mad have returned to normal, but the power that invaded their bodies is not easy to remove." Jinsen felt quite curious and wanted to see what kind of power it was. He said, "Bring a few people who are being controlled here for me to see." "Yes." The fair-skinned young man obeyed. Following this, the fair-skinned young man brought a few people who had been controlled. They returned to normal and respectfully bowed to Jinsen. "We greet the city lord." Jinsen gave a simple and a powerful sensing energy covered them, as if he could see through every part of their bodies. When Jinsen sensed the people's power, his expression fell and he stretched out a hand. A wave of power flowed into their bodies, gathering the black and blood-red energy within their bodies. At that moment, Jinsen pulled with his hand, and the black and blood-red energy floated towards Jinsen. It gathered in front of him and formed a black rose-like flower. The fair-skinned young man looked at the black rose-like flower and asked in surprise, "City Lord, what kind of power is this?" Jinsen replied seriously, "This is the evil spirit abyss flower's power." The fair-skinned young man felt quite startled, so they were controlled by the evil spirit abyss flower's power. No wonder so many people were controlled without being able to resist, and this power is so difficult to get rid of. But City Lord, the evil spirit abyss flower's power is a terrifying power from the demon domain, and it has disappeared for a long time. How could it appear here? Jinsen said seriously, "You're wrong. The evil spirit abyss flower's power has long since appeared, and this is something that has shaken the entire heaven awakened world." The fair-skinned young man thought about it and asked curiously, "I don't think I've heard of such a thing before." Jinsen glanced at him and said, "Have you heard of the demon race's supreme emperor star awakening a few years ago?" The fair-skinned young man replied, "I have. It was the second king of kings, who had 7 emperor stars, who awakened the demon lord star in the demon domain. This shook the entire demon domain and attracted countless higher beings." Jinsen continued, "The second king of kings, who had 7 emperor stars, relied on the evil spirit abyss flower's power to unleash the evil flower bewitching world and awaken the demon race's supreme emperor star." The fair-skinned young man thought of something and looked incredibly shocked. "City Lord, you're saying that the person who stole the golden heaven spirit pearl is the second king of kings, who has 7 emperor stars?" Jinsen nodded solemnly. "It should be him. Right now, he has awakened the supreme emperor stars of 6 races. Right now, he is only missing the spirit race and the water race. This time, he probably came to spirit realm to awaken the spirit race's emperor star." The fair-skinned young man's expression became incredibly serious. "Sir, what should we do now? This matter is incredibly important." Jinsen's expression was cold as he said, "Since he dares to set his sights on me, he can't blame me. Send out news that the second king of kings, who has 7 emperor stars, has appeared in the spirit domain." Hearing this, the fair-skinned young man nodded and turned to leave the hall. When this news spread out, the heaven-awakened world, which had just calmed down, was once again sent into an uproar. It was not just the heaven-awakened world's 8 domains. The godly world above and underworld below were also greatly shaken. This was especially so for the godly world. Last time, when Zhao Fu had awakened his emperor star, they still remembered the terrifying ripples. Even the outer world and alchemy world started to pay attention. Ever since the Haotian mirror had displayed its boundless might, they had placed great importance on Zhao Fu and had been collecting information about him. Now, this person had finally appeared. Peek! You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.